Charge it. What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday, July 7th, and welcome to episode 7 of Punch the Air. I'm Kyle Brophy, and I'll be your host once again. And sitting to my right, once again, Cole T-Bone Lockley. And back from Grandma's bed in Cape Cod, we got Luke Buzzsaw Besney.
Grandma. That's right.
And coming to us live, making his first appearance from the city with some of the best masseuses this country has to offer, Houston, Texas.
Crack
Big E, Ethan Davis.
Yeah, baby.
Welcome to it.
Thank you for having me, boys. Appreciate it.
We're happy to have you.
Oh,
All right, so today we're gonna
got a fantasy football genius on the pod today.
Okay, so today we're gonna start stepping away from the NBA now that it's a little under 2 months till.
Thank God. Yeah, we're into it now, baby.
It's a little under 2 months till first game. So we got a loaded NFL pod today. We're gonna kick things off with a little bit about the Baker trade that happened yesterday, then move into our first power rankings of the season. Then we're gonna break down a new division every week. So we're starting this week off. We're starting it off with the NFC East this week, and then we're gonna do NFC quarterback tiers. Then we got a nice little segment called New Faces, New Places. We're gonna talk a little bit about some of the big names that moved this offseason. Then we're gonna guess some future Madden ratings, and we got a fantastic budget lineup. And we're gonna finish things off per usual with the fun little rankings. All right, so let's get down. The Baker trade. Baker's going to Carolina for a conditional 2024 fifth-round pick, and the Browns are paying $10.5 million for him to play for Carolina this year.
And against them week one.
They pretty much got a washer and a dry unit for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
The fact that he was a first-round pick and that it takes the fifth was basically the only thing that he could get to get rid of his ass. It just kind of says a lot about what way he's going this year, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think a lot of it too is, like a lot of these teams, like the Seahawks or the Falcons, all these other teams too. It's like their vision is to tank to get one of these stud QBs in this draft. So it's like at first I was like, oh, why wouldn't you trade a fifth, sixth round pick, whatever it would take to get him? But for like these teams, I understand it. But for the team like Carolina, it makes sense, I guess. They got the 1 to 3 picks from 18.
I really like the trade for Carolina. Like, I think Baker still has something left in the tank. Like, he was injured this season. Like, he had that great third year. His second year was a little iffy with Kitchens. But, like, Baker's still an accurate quarterback. I think he could still be a good quarterback in the league. In Carolina, they got weapons. You got McCaffrey, arguably the best running back in football. You have DJ Moore, Terrence Marshall, Robbie Anderson. They just drafted the North Carolina state tackle. Like, they actually have a decent team. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Baker does well this year. He always, like, thrives in that underdog mindset that he's, like, always had. So I think, like, I wouldn't be shocked, personally, if Baker comes out this year and Carolina's actually a competitive team.
I don't think Baker's going to do shit when he plays, honestly.
My
reason for that, too, is, like, with the Browns, he's inherited a great roster year in, year out. They've had one of those dominant O-lines for the past 4 or 5 years. And the Panthers did add that tackle who will probably be a good player. But their O-line is still atrocious. And Baker's shown that, like, he's not an athletic quarterback to where if the pocket's collapsing, he can get out and make plays. Where Darnold can.
Darnold can move.
And I think they're probably going to start Darnold going into the year because he's been there and, like, they just got Baker. He's not going to learn the playbook in time. But probably about 3 or 4 weeks out, they'll probably be 1-3. Darnold will probably have 4 touchdowns and 8 picks. And Baker will get in, and then we'll see what he can do when he gets in. But I don't expect much.
I think there's 2 sides of both of this because I do think that if there's a healthy McCaffrey, I think having him, even with that bad O-line, with the chances of it being good, even if it's a little improved, having CMC, a healthy CMC, is definitely a better pass-catching option than Nick Chubb because then when you had to bring Kareem Hunt, you lost Nick Chubb. So I think they get a lot out of that, and especially when he's in trouble, he's going to be able to dump it off and get something out of it. And then DJ Moore is also very slept on as receiver. If he had a top 5, top 10 quarterback, he'd probably be one of the best receivers in the league, honestly, in terms of numbers, not maybe talent alone, but in terms of his numbers and stats, I think he'd make a huge difference. But on the flip side of that,
I love DJ.
I love DJ Moore.
I like DJ a lot too. And the flip side of that too is that with that transition period, if Darnold is looking all right and the team starts getting behind him, like we saw Robbie Anderson, he said, "Don't come at me like this," because the media was trying to say he was backstabbing Baker, which he was. But back then, Sam Darnold was his quarterback. So if that's your quarterback, you can't be picking sides and whatever. So if it comes down to that, I think if Sam does all right and doesn't have 12 picks in 4 games, he might actually be able to stick around and might actually give Baker some trouble. And then if that's the case, Baker's really got to show that he can pick it up and do more, which I don't think he has more in Carolina than he did in Cleveland. And that's just my opinion. Yeah. So my thing, he might have a better potential weapon, but he had Odell, he had Jarvis, he had big tight ends, he had Hooper, he had a great O-line, Chubb, Kareem Hunt. I mean, he had more weapons, but you can make an argument that the top 2 weapons on the Panthers are better than those guys on the Browns. So I look at it both ways. It really depends on that transition and how he picks up where he left off from last year, especially after that injury.
I don't think Baker's dead in the water. I
don't think he's dead either.
Whenever we say dead in the water, are we talking can he be an elite starting quarterback?
Not an elite, but I think he could still be a franchise level guy.
Quarterback?
Yes, a franchise level guy.
What's Baker's ceiling though? Kirk Cousins?
Yeah,
I think that's
Dak,
ultimate
you're looking at a really good game manager. I mean, he was really good. One, his rookie year he was really good. His 3rd year in the league he was really good. He won Cleveland a playoff game. I know year 2 was rough with Kitchens. That whole thing went kaboom. And last year obviously he was injured and all the shit happened. But I think this is a great move for Carolina. You're giving up nothing for him. I think he's still a talented, accurate quarterback for the most part.
Yeah.
If he sucks, great. You're drafting Bryce Young next year. And if not, you traded nothing for possibly your next quarterback for the next
which is a steal. And that's where it could really get interesting because I think a lot of it has to do with, like I said, that transition. But if the Browns get more than, or not the Browns, if the Panthers get more out of him than what they were expecting with that 5th round pick, it's one of the better trades if he's a mediocre to above average quarterback. It's a steal of the trade.
Yeah, because they're giving up literally nothing. It's a win for Baker. It's a win for Carolina. It's only a loss for Cleveland, because they invested in one pick in him.
The chances of that 5th are that 5th being good is
and it's literally the definition of zero risk, pretty high upside reward. Yeah. If he doesn't pan out, great, you give up a 5th round pick, big whoop.
Well, think about the landscape of that division too. You have Brady, obviously, but how much longer is Brady going to play? It's probably his last season.
I would think he's got $350 million.
I assume
if he wins it this year, it's his last one for sure.
After that, I
think Brady's still got a few more.
I feel like he retires after.
But he's got that. He's got that contract with
Fox.
The
past 3 or 4 years,
but he didn't have that contract with Fox waiting for him on the other side.
But
he's got enough money,
outside of Tampa, you have Jameis in New Orleans, and you have whatever the hell the Falcons are going to do. They'll probably draft someone next year.
Yeah, but he could be the best quarterback.
You could make a case that next season, going into the season, Baker's the best quarterback in the division. Now that's a really shitty division.
That is
a
obviously
possibility.
the most glass half full perspective. He could be, but then again, you're comparing him. You're saying if Brady retires, so to that point, who hops in? Kyle Trask, then Marcus Mariota, some rookie, and then whoever the hell the Saints have, whether it be Jameis or whoever. So the competition is.
It's weak,
nothing,
but you still have the top guy, which that guy typically wins you a division. Yeah, most of the time.
And I think this trade too. Yeah, obviously it's zero risk, and I think the reason people are even talking about it too is because the fact it's Baker. 99% of the guys we see that get traded for a day 3 pick in the NFL, it never gets any.
It's not even a guaranteed pick.
Ever. Yeah. It's usually a guy that we've never.
What does a conditional fifth mean?
I think it means there's some terms if he
plays 40% or no, if he plays, I believe it was 70% or more of the snaps, it turns into a 4th round pick.
Okay, so it'll be a 4th or
either way. To
I think he starts week.
Either
1.
way to day 3. I don't think he starts day 1.
I do. I just think he's I think he's better than Darnold.
I think he's better too. But the fact that he's coming to the team right now, Darnold's been in this system. He knows the playbook.
They hired a new coordinator. They hired Ben McAdoo as the OC, so they do have a new coordinator.
Oh,
No,
God.
you saw
not
Ben
good.
McAdoo.
Well,
Not
coming,
good.
coming out of
Not
college
good.
too, Ben McAdoo had Baker rated as his 6th overall quarterback in that draft.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
I
he's
saw
not
that
high
crap.
on him. Yeah, Ben McAdoo was the 6th rated QB in that
Yeah.
draft.
Wow.
Yeah, Ben
Yeah.
did not like him coming out.
So
Jesus,
obviously,
yeah.
like at this point, it's Baker's. It's make or break for Baker if he wants to be a starter in this league.
Yeah.
If he fizzles out here, he's probably going to be a
He'll be a
high tier
backup.
backup
Yeah.
that bounces around by a bunch of teams.
Yeah, but I think like like he always has that like chip on his shoulder. Right now he's probably
Yeah.
working his ass off. Like I think he's gonna come out. Like I'll actually make a bold prediction right now. If Deshaun Watson does not play Week 1, I bet Carolina beats the Browns Week 1.
I don't even know who the Browns' backup is, so that
It's
sounds
Jacoby
that sounds
Brissett.
very. Reasonable.
I'll take
Brisket?
Baker,
Oh,
a
shit.
pissed off Baker playing with a
Yeah.
chip on his shoulder to come out and have a great game that game, and I bet they beat him if Watson doesn't.
I
play.
would too. You
So
remember
how,
when
how
he played
bold is that
Tech
though
in
if he's
college?
starting against Jacoby Brissett? I mean,
It's still the Browns. I mean, you still have
Yeah.
Chubb, the
Jacoby
O-line.
Brissett.
I know. But I mean, like the Panthers, what's their over under for wins? Like 6? Like no one's
If
expecting them to
that.
do shit this season.
well, if
so.
Brissett's starting though,
Cleveland will
like
still be
8.
favored.
They're going to
I
be
would-
favored.
It'll be
Yeah,
a pick
they'll-
'em probably.
No, I bet.
I
Cleveland
wouldn't
will
say
be
that's too
favored.
bold though if Briskett's starting.
Well, I think regardless, I think Baker's going to come out Week 1 just pissed off. He's playing the Browns. It's going to be like the whole mentality thing for him that he's going to be like, I
Yeah.
got to come out and ball. So
And I think he's always had that little mindset since, I mean, you saw it was a while ago, but when he played Texas Tech for the first time after transferring from OU, he was a wild man on the field. Like he
Shit,
was
yeah,
bumping
he
it.
was.
He was wild. He balled out and he was pumping everyone up, running down the sidelines, talking shit. I mean, if he's fired up like that and locked in, who knows what can
I
happen.
don't
But
think
like
it
I
ma-
said,
I don't think
yeah.
his Fury attitude matters though. I mean, because like I said, he
Against the
inherited-
Browns, I think it does.
he-
Against the Browns, I think
yeah,
it would.
you'll have
Yeah.
you can have that game against your old team. But I'm saying
Yeah.
in the big picture for the season, like going from the best O line in the league to a bottom 5 O line. Yes, he does have DJ
Not a good
Moore.
look.
He does
Yeah.
have McCaffrey, which who knows if he's going to play a half
Got
of the
Robbie.
season if
Yeah.
that. So I just think realistically, this is probably his last stint, and then I believe after this, he's probably going to be a backup.
Yeah.
Well, now you already brought it up, but yeah, if Deshaun Watson gets suspended, the Browns might be stuck with Jacoby Brissett as their quarterback all
Brisket.
year,
This whole year.
their whole year. So I mean,
Well, they may
how
try
did
to-
how did
it's
how did the
looking
I
Browns?
wouldn't be shocked if they trade for Jimmy
Yeah.
G
I mean, yeah, how
Yeah.
did well? Let's say Brissett
Ooh,
is a starting
I like
quarterback for
that
the
idea.
Browns
Yeah,
this
I like
year. I
that.
mean,
for a
how
year.
how do the Browns look if Brissett's their quarterback all year?
They're going 8
Uh,
and 9.
Yeah,
It's a
man.
lot of.
7-10,
Luckily, they have a
and
run
mid.
game still,
Yeah.
so they
And
might
then
be able to
their
match.
defense is really good.
Their defense is good.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to run the
Good
ball, pound it
secondary,
around, control
good
the clock.
They got
secondary.
good
But
coaching.
I mean, with Jacoby Brissett, you're limited. It's with any quarterback
course.
that's that
Yeah,
bottom tier.
you know
you're
what
only gonna
you're
get so
getting with
far.
Brisket. You know what you're getting
You know
with
what
Mr.
you're getting.
Brisket. He's not going to wow you, but he might not be the worst quarterback, but he's definitely not going to win you
He'll,
games.
if you have
single-handedly.
pieces around
Yeah.
him, he can be serviceable. But yeah,
Exactly.
absolute best case scenario, you can make a wild card and then get waxed.
Yeah,
first
they're like,
round.
well, that division
Best
is
case.
tough too.
That's
Like,
what
best
like,
case,
yeah,
they're
best
like
Oh,
10
that
and 7,
division?
absolute
Yeah.
9
best
and
case.
8. Yeah,
Chubb runs for 1,800. Hunt runs
Mhm.
for a K. The defense
you beat the
shows
shit
Yeah,
out
I
of all
think
the
Garrett
crap
gets
I think
20
that's kinda-
sacks. Like that's
I think
That's
that's the
obviously,
mindset
like-
this year.
the otherworldly perspective. But
yeah,
Yeah,
Probably
they're going to run the
7-10.
shit out of the ball this year. That's all I know.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough Panthers talk for the season.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna do our first power rankings of the season. I got my top 10 teams going into this season, 2 months out. And here we go. My honorable mentions are the Titans, the Saints, and the Colts. And coming in at number 10, I got the Raiders.
The Raiders.
The
I love it.
Raiders.
I
And
love
then-
it. I fucking love it, Brophy.
And then I have the Ravens at 9, the Broncos at 8,
Ooh.
the Chargers at 7, the Packers at 6, 5 Bucks, 4 Chiefs, 3 Bengals, 2
Ooh.
Bills, and 1 the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams.
I really like your top 10.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm not going to lie. The
I would-
only one that I disagree is the Broncos, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah.
I love your top 10. I would actually have it like outside of the Ravens, I would have those same exact teams. Those are the 9 in my top 10. I'm going to take a shot though at your number 1 team, the champion, the Rams.
Uh-huh.
And my concern with the Rams is obviously there's always a Super Bowl hangover, right?
Yeah.
But they lost Andrew Whitworth. They lost Corbett too, who's a good guard. I don't know
Yep.
how their O-line's going to play. They also lost Von Miller, so they lost some
Yeah.
big pieces. And my biggest concern with them is on the O-line. We never really saw him get a great run game last year. I mean, McVay, he can always cook up some stuff.
Yeah.
I do love the Allen Robinson signing, but I'm scared of a Super Bowl hangover and then the O-line. Because their O-line now is bottom third in the league. Their O-line's not good.
I thought
it's
they
hard-
signed somebody. They signed like some like Note Boom or some shit. Like
They didn't sign
average
anyone
guard.
worth a shit. But they did sign Bobby Wagner, and I think he'll not replace Vaughn, but I think he's an equal caliber player.
Yeah,
But
just a
I'm
different
worried about
spot
their
on the
O-line because in
field.
this league it's been proven if you don't have at least a decent O-line, the Bengals last year were an outlier.
Yeah.
But if you don't have
Yeah.
a decent O-line, you don't have a mobile quarterback, it's
and
very
they
hard
and
to
they
win.
fixed that issue too.
Exactly.
They went
Oh,
balls
they
to the wall
definitely
on
did.
that in the
Yeah.
offseason.
Yeah, they
I mean,
really did.
I would
my-
have the Rams at 7 in my top 10.
7?
Yeah.
Wow, that's.
I mean, in my mind, I'm just since this is
would you have the
especially.
Packers over him?
No.
Okay.
I mean, in my mind, especially since before the season's kicking off, they are the team that won the last game of the season last year. I mean, yeah, they lost 1 or 2 offensive linemen, which I mean
They're
Thank-
two best linemen.
well, thankfully they got Sean McVay and Stafford, who's probably worked with the shitty offensive line before. So I mean, I would imagine like I have the Bills at 2. I mean, I was honestly a toss-up for me. I could have very easily
I
put the
would
Bills
have
at
the Bills
1.
at 1.
I think the
I
Bills
mean-
should be the unanimous.
I think the
Pa-
Bills
on-
should be
on
1,
paper?
but yeah.
On paper they are. I'm just giving the Rams a credit for winning the Super Bowl. I'm just gonna keep them at 1 for the time being.
I mean, the
before
Bills had the
season
number
starts.
1 rated defense in the league last year. Tre'Davious White was out for most of the year. They brought back Von Miller. They drafted James Cook.
No, I mean,
they also added.
They're set. They're ready.
No,
to
they
roll.
are ready to
They're-
roll.
They're ready to go.
And I think after last year losing to the Chiefs in that fucking crazy ass game,
yeah,
they're gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
When they come out swinging. They have the best roster in the league.
yeah.
Arguably the best quarterback. One of the best young head coaches.
And I think literally the only question is like, I mean, there's gonna be a new play caller. That Dable's gone, but I mean, you have the top, maybe the best, most
got
talented
Still got
quarterback in
Josh
the league.
Allen.
I
and
don't
You
think-
still
Diggs.
got fucking Josh
So-
Allen. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
motherfucker.
But no,
monster.
they literally do have no question marks
Yeah.
whatsoever.
I think you got the Packers a little high. I'd probably still have Packers top 10, but I would have them around like 10 or 9. I think I'd have the Broncos over them. I'd have the Broncos pushing top 5. I think the Broncos are ready to rock.
I'm only putting the Broncos back because I do think just with every team, it's going to be a new system for Russ. It's going to be new players. I think that offense is going to take a little bit of time to like really get going because just
Mhm.
timing. It takes a couple
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
They might not
I
come
mean,
out
it
of the
did with
gates
Peyton
on
Manning.
firing. Yes.
I'd have the Broncos at 6-2. And like we see with Russ, he's always had a good running game, and
Yeah.
coming into this Denver team, like that's the last of their concerns.
Javonte Williams is a fucking
Williams and Melvin
beast.
Gordon might be the best running back.
That's
duo
a
in the
good
league.
duo. That's other than Hunt and
Javonte
Chubb.
Williams after this
Yeah.
year could be in that top 5 upper echelon.
He's one of the best pure
elite.
runners in the league.
And I didn't even know this too.
Some of the runs
they had
he
the
makes.
third best defense last year too.
Yeah, their
and they
defense is
signed Reggie
great.
Gregory too, a pass rusher who hasn't played that much, but he could be a 12-sack guy if he plays a full season.
Yeah,
So-
and he's in the right position. I like having the
So-
Ravens in the top 10. I think a lot of people
yeah.
are underestimating
People sleep
the
on the
Ravens.
Ravens.
I think 'cause
Absolutely.
They had
Lately.
so many
they had
injuries.
so many injuries. You still have one Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson.
Who's playing for a contract?
Yes,
Mm,
and you
contract
have
year,
you
baby.
have the defense that they have. That offense is going to be able to roll pretty much any team that doesn't have a great running game. You have J.K. Dobbins back. Hopefully, he doesn't get hurt this season. I think the I'm not going to be shocked. I mean, you do have the Ravens as the top team in the division. I think Ravens win the division unless
Yeah.
Watson plays, which I mean we'll
Yeah.
see. But I
I
think
think Ravens win the division
yeah.
over Cleveland.
Yeah, unless
Or
Deshaun
you
Watson
over the
plays.
Bengals
in
yeah.
Cincy? I think
Yeah,
I would
Deshaun's
pick
not playing,
Cincy.
though.
I would-
Yeah,
Cincy's
Deshaun ain't
probably
playing.
the favorite, right? After
I
winning
would
the
think.
Super
So. I mean,
Bowl.
with the offensive line addition Cincy made, that was
Yeah.
their only
I mean,
bad
it's,
part of their
it's
team.
hard
just-
to nitpick Cincy right now, man. Like they're coming off. They were this close to the Super Bowl. They had Lael Collins. They had Alex Kappa.
Lael's
they
a
also-
huge addition for him.
Who else?
Kappa
They
was
also
the
had
12th.
Lael
Kappa was the
Collins.
12th ranked guard on Pro Football
Yeah.
Focus
And
last
I-
year.
I
Ted
just-
Karras, another starting guard.
Yeah.
Like their O line's like pretty.
Their
above
line is
average now.
great.
And that
I
was the
just
only
feel
worry.
like they were such a Cinderella story last year. Like people, I mean, a lot of people picked them to lose round 1. Like,
Yeah.
so like
I think I bet against them in every round.
yeah, like
besides Super
I
Bowl.
know I bet
Yeah,
I
they-
bet Titans minus 3.5. I was like, Derrick
Yeah.
Henry's gonna crush them.
That was
Like,
a lock.
yeah, so they made the additions to the O line. I think Bengals at 3 is a little high. I'd probably have them 7 to 8 in that range. I know they won the conference and everything. I think the Bills and the Chiefs are still better than them. I think the Ravens and them are a toss-up if the Ravens are healthy. I think the Ravens, we've seen what they can do when they're ready to go and everyone's back, and that defense is roaring like it can.
I just really think that if those offensive line pieces work the way they should, that was
no one's stopping. I think that's the best offense in the league if that offensive line meshes out.
Yeah.
I mean, the weapons.
Yeah, the best receiver in the
weaponry.
league. Joe Burrow is. I mean, we think about it too. Like Joe Burrow, he played he got hurt 6 games in to his rookie year.
Yeah,
7 games,
something like that. Yeah.
I mean, dude, and usually it takes another full season to come back. His second season, fresh off a torn ACL, he came back and just torched the league on fire.
Yeah.
No one saw that coming. And I think Joe Burrow is one of the most dedicated. I think he's different than a lot of players in the league now, to where literally the only thing that Joe Burrow cares about is football.
Yeah.
And with Jamar Chase,
And
Tyler
winning.
Boyd, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon at running back, improved O-line. I think the Bengals have the best offense in the league.
Yeah. You could definitely
And a
make that
defense that's
case.
slightly underrated too.
Yeah, I mean, the defense.
I
we'll
love the
see.
Bengals.
Who's the DN that they got, or they have?
Hendrickson?
They have Trey Hendrickson.
I mean, we'll see if he can get
They have
15
Jesse
sacks
Bates.
again. I know they got Bates and all those guys. But
Chidobe Awuzie had a breakout year actually. As
he
well.
did play well.
They got
He
that.
actually
They
had a
drafted
good
that
year.
defensive back from Michigan.
They
in
got
the first
Daxton
round.
Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of fell to them too a little bit, so
Yeah.
he was supposed to go
Yeah.
a little higher. So, but I would say I really like all of y'all's, but I actually have one that's in here that's gonna get y'all riled up because of who it is. But I'm really kind of sold on them and what they did this offseason.
The Eagles.
Eagles.
I have the Eagles as number 10 in my power rankings, and then
I
from
was
there,
surprised you didn't have him honorable mention.
Yeah,
I just saw who they beat last year, and it's just it's hard. I know they added some good players, but before watching them play, it's I can't really.
I
not gonna put
really
it in
love
yet.
their team because they might have other than the best, not the best O line, but they might have the second best offensive line in the league,
Yeah, they're
other
top
than their
5
right
Yeah.
guard. Yeah, other than their right guard, who's a new addition this year, which knowing them, he could end up being a stud like Mata was in the past 2 years. No one even knew who Mata was, and he came out and he's one of the best tackles
Well,
in
they
the
got
league.
Dickerson's a dog.
They got Mata Dickerson on the left. They
Yeah,
got
Lane
Kelsey up the
Johnson.
middle. Kelsey will help out that new guy a little bit, and then they got old Lane Johnson on the outside. So I really like the Eagles as being a power play this year. Honestly, I think the fact that they went even to the playoffs last year with how mediocre as a quarterback, not a fantasy player, as a quarterback, Jalen Hurts was. If he makes, I'd say above average improvements this year, he might have a chance to really make that team not maybe a contender, but definitely a sleeper in the playoffs, especially if you're weak against the run. And then I got
I agree
Yeah.
with you. The
I do
Eagles
too.
all developed down, or they all boil down the development of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the only
literally.
thing I'm concerned about with Hurts is we saw last year when they started winning, it was run heavy. It was get Hurts the
And they
ball.
beat up on
they
shitty
ran the ball
teams.
And they beat
Yeah.
60%, and they
Yeah.
beat crap. So it's going to really develop down to where if Hurts can start airing the ball out, hit his passes, and I don't know if he can. I love what the Eagles did personnel-wise to their roster this offseason, but so many teams in the league, it's going to depend on Jalen Hurts. And I think Nick Sirianni is actually a really good offensive mind.
I do
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
He
might
did
be
a lot
bad at
with
the
very
podium.
little last
but-
year.
But
Yeah.
but he sticks with what
And
works.
he might be bad at the podium, but he got that locker room rallied. He
Yeah,
rallied that
exactly.
locker room. He might be shitty talking to the media, but in that locker room, getting guys to listen and buy in, he did a really good job last year when it could have gone to shit.
I feel
quick.
like the Eagles just have a better grasp of who they are as a team and what they want to do than anyone, not against the Cowboys too, because there's still questions about CD. He's got to step up as the one. There's questions about the O-line and it aging this year. I feel like there's more questions about the Cowboys and
We'll
the
get into
Eagles.
that.
So for that,
They're
yeah,
definitely
for
are.
that,
Yeah.
for that, I'm going to put the Eagles. But I like the Broncos idea. But my only thing is there's no way all 4 of those teams are going to make the playoffs this year because they're going to play each other twice
Yeah.
and beat
No,
up on each
yeah.
other. So I actually have the Broncos as one of my honorable mentions because I think they have the most room to grow as a team. And you can't count out Patrick Mahomes. The Chargers are looking for a big year. And then the Raiders are honestly, they might have the best pass rushing duo, Max Crosby and Chandler Jones on the outside of that
I
entire division.
love the Raiders.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I like
you could say
McDaniels
Bosa,
going there.
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, they have a lot of promise there, and with all of that, and Devontae Adams and Derek Carr, says enough. But they brought Hunter Renfrow, right? Hunter Renfrow being your third best option on the team is pretty solid, including a good secondary, which is
Top 3
improving.
tight
Which
end.
That's good.
Josh Jacobs
Yeah.
is still
Wait,
a
so you-
badass
so you-
running back.
So who-
exactly.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Yeah, I love what
I
Philly
can give
did.
y'all my top 10 if you want, just so you can nitpick mine. Okay, all
Or
good.
should he? Yeah, just
Just
we're
read it
gonna do
off?
that week by week.
Yeah, we're gonna do it week by week.
Yeah.
So we'll just
Yeah, but hold on. I want to
Okay.
ask you
Do it.
something though. So you had the Philly at 10. I love what Philly did. I'm not ready to put them top 10 yet.
Mhm.
Would you have them ahead of the Raiders?
Philly, no. So Philly's my top 10. So my last
Who
four.
did you have right after Philly?
Right after Philly, I have the Packers. Right at number 9, I have the Packers.
I like the Packers. In that
I don't think though we can put Philly ahead on a power ranking ahead of the Packers though at this point.
No, he had
Philly. He has
Packers.
I have Philly at 10. Yeah.
Okay,
so they're my
who
last
are your honorable
one.
mentions? Who are your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions, first and foremost, I would definitely say it's the Cowboys, honestly, because I think that between y'all and the Eagles is going to be a battle in the toss-up.
Yeah.
So I think that's how I look at that. Next, I have the Broncos because purely someone's got to lose that division, and not all those teams can make it. And I know they added some pieces, but I still feel like they have the most holes of anyone else out of that division.
But if we're talking about a head-to-head matchup of Eagles-Broncos, you're taking the Eagles?
I think, honestly, because of the run defense, it just depends on how that run defense turns out in the year because of the that's where I think the Broncos have a pass rush, but they don't really have a ton on the inside. I think they can keep up with that loaded front that the Eagles have. So I think it'd be a battle, and I think they keep Russell Wilson off the field to where he would have to do some Russ stuff, but he'd have very limited possessions because they're going to be run, pass it to AJ, get some plays, do a little deep pass to Devontae, but they have a lot of options now, and Dallas Goedert. So I just think they have some more weapons, in my opinion, than the Broncos. I know they have Russ, but it's a lot of what the Eagles do is dependent on
Jerry
Hurts.
are talented guys too.
Yep.
I would say they're even. I personally would have the Broncos just because of the Russell Wilson factor.
The Russ, yeah. And that's very fair.
I don't know if the Broncos defense would stop the run heavy offense to a degree, but I would take Russ. Obviously,
I mean the Broncos.
Talking about.
I mean the Broncos. Yes, they have an off
matchup that's never gonna happen.
Yeah,
they have a great secondary.
I mean the Broncos have had a top 3, top 5 scoring years the last couple of years. I mean, yes, that was with Vic Fangio, but they got offensive minded
They're
guys.
great at stopping the pass.
I don't know how. Like ever since the Peyton Manning days, like even when they don't have talent, they always have a good defense. They somehow, some way, they figure it out.
Yeah, they do a good job.
They don't have
everything but a
They don't have a lot of big names on defense, but it's a defense that's been together for a long time, and they just play well together.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and look for Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb still hasn't broken out yet. He gets hurt like
he needs to.
Year.
He just gets hurt all the time.
I mean, Surtain's a beast.
Oh, yeah. He's a monster.
Surtain's a 10-time All-Pro.
You have
the strength of that team's the secondary.
Safety. Yeah. I think another team, the Colts. Like I don't know if I'd have the Colts top 10, but like I don't think anyone would be shocked, especially in that division, if they win like 11 or 12 games.
I think Matt Ryan's way better than Carson Wentz. That's the
thing.
Sure.
Like, we have to see how good.
They should be the favorites in that division.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And
we got to see
what
Matt Ryan
is. Biggest favorites.
Do you think?
They love the Titans. Look it up. I wouldn't be shocked if it's like even.
The Colts won great defense. I mean, you have arguably the best back in football, probably the best O-line in football. If Matt Ryan can play above average, which I still think he can.
Colts minus 111.
Okay,
Titans
so
plus
even.
146.
So almost even. Yeah, that's good value.
Yeah. Okay, pretty close.
But if you give a Jonathan Taylor heavy offensive scheme, pound the shit out of the ball, and Matt Ryan makes good reads, the defense plays well, they can easily win 11 to 12 games. Like I don't think that would shock anyone.
If you got Matt Ryan as your game manager, not even trying to carry the load, I would take that any day for any team that's in need of a quarterback. I would take Matt Ryan any day. Yeah. But I like that a lot.
I want to ask you about one team that I would have squeaking in at my number 5. This is probably very difficult.
I don't think they're squeaking in at 5.
Squeaking in at 5.
Y'all might not even have them in your top 10. I have the Niners at 5.
I see. I don't know. I see it, but it's just I don't know about Jimmy
it all
Lance.
boils down to Trey Lance with the Niners. But like the fact that like we've seen what Shanahan's done with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, who I think if you put Jimmy Garoppolo on most other teams, he's one of those like Baker Mayfield like kind of serviceable guys.
Yeah.
But he somehow wins 11, 12 games every year.
That's Shanahan.
With Trey Lance, they're gonna go. We know they go run heavy zone scheme. Like, Trey Lance is going to run the shit out of the ball. If Trey Lance can just hit easy passes, I feel like we're going to get, like, offensively, Cowboys 2016 Zeke rookie year vibes.
Well, we got to see what happens with Debo.
They also have arguably the best front seven.
That's huge, in my opinion. I mean, that's the only
thing. They were hurt all year, and we saw them turn on late. Like, their defense is still fucking loaded.
Yeah.
Debo.
I think they could be I think they're a higher upside Eagles team than Niners.
I would have I like the Niners more than the Eagles. But, like, if Debo gets traded... Which, I mean, we don't know if that's going to happen.
I'm speculating that he's playing.
He's playing.
For them, yeah.
I mean, then, you still have him and Kittle, who are arguably the most, like, pound-for-pound best physical players in the league at their positions, respectively.
Right.
Like,
I just want to see Lance play first and get starting time before I put him in there.
It all boils down to Trey Lance, but I think even if Trey Lance isn't even that great of a passer, they're going to figure out so many ways to zone him or scheme him to run.
Yes.
Elijah Mitchell.
Shanahan's going to give him so many
We even
easy
see
throws.
like whenever like Nick Mullins has started these like spot games the past
they
few
were
years.
in those
CJ
games
Beathard.
somehow.
When Beathard, like Mitchell is still getting 25 for $120. Like it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. Like they are going to pound the ball down your throat
Or
and
running
get whatever
back.
they want.
They can throw another undrafted rookie at a
My
running back,
thing-
and
They can
he'll
throw
be
anyone.
great.
Like that team, and that's so valuable. That team's going to run the ball whenever the hell they want to run the ball.
And that's a team you don't want to play in the playoffs.
And they also
No, not at
matters,
all.
They signed their secondary was their leagueness. They signed Shavarius Ward, who is a pretty good player in the Chiefs.
Yep.
Jason Verrett too. If he can somehow stay healthy,
When he's healthy, he's good.
He's
He had a
badass
good year
himself.
last
If
year
can
when
stay
he was healthy.
They
so.
can maybe form a tandem there at cornerback with the best front seven in football. I like the Niners a lot.
Yeah,
I
I'd have
think-
them in honorable mention one just because of Lance and Debo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, no one would be shocked if they're
in the thick
and they're
of
in the
things.
second round of the
Yeah.
playoffs. Like I don't
Yeah.
think anyone's going to be surprised if they're there.
Yeah.
That's like I feel like the NFL, like NBA, is so much different because
You know what you're
the
getting.
talent
Yes.
overload on
It's
some teams.
so
is like,
different.
There's like
But
4
yeah.
to 6 teams.
NFL, there's like half the league. That you're
Half
like,
the league.
okay, if,
Dude,
if things
like,
pan out
the
for this
Steelers
team, like,
could be
they
good.
Could do
like
it.
if Kenny Pickett's good, the Steelers could win
Yeah.
the division. Like there's like
He's got to be pretty good.
he's got to
Yeah.
be pretty good, but they still got the defense and the running game and the weapons. Like
Yeah.
there's so many
Their O
teams.
line would have to step up too, but
It would,
Yes.
yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, there's a lot, but just like, there's so many, like the Saints, the Cowboys, the Colts, the Titans, the Niners, like teams that weren't even in the original top 10.
Yeah.
Like,
why?
wouldn't be shocked if they even won a playoff.
One
game.
thing I like about like this offseason in the NFL too is I feel like a lot of this talent like divided out elsewhere to where like I feel like a lot of these like middling teams, like
yeah,
the Colts, or the Chargers or
The
whatever, like
Eagles.
they improved the Eagles, they improved
Yeah.
a lot to where like now it's like we can almost look at these teams as contenders.
I think there's a
And
ton
like
of
the
contenders this
talent's
year.
even. Like
There's
there's like
a
a
lot.
bottom like 8 to where you're like, okay, these teams are obviously wipe them off, take them off
Right,
the board
yeah.
now. But like there's like over half the league to where you're like, if things go right and like everyone stays healthy,
Yep.
everything pans out, like this team could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
There's
this is gonna be a
yeah.
great season.
Mhm.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, I
I'm
think just like
stoked, too.
going into the season, there's so, like it's even. Like that's
Yeah.
I was telling him
Yeah.
before before the pod, I was like, how are you even gonna make your top 10? I was like, there's so
Yeah.
many even level teams. Like even just the AFC West, like Chiefs,
Yeah.
Broncos, Chargers, Raiders.
I
like,
think
Like
that's the best
they
division
can't all
ever.
make it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you could
I don't know
literally
what
make
division
a
would be better
case
than
that
that.
any of those teams are the best team in the division.
Oh yeah.
And one of them at least is going to miss the playoffs, most likely.
God, if
Yeah,
one of
because
those
they're gonna
teams
they're gonna have
if
to double up on
you
each
could
other
take
every
any
year.
of those teams in Houston's division and they would just wipe the floor.
Oh,
or
they-
or the
ours.
NFC
Yeah,
East.
the
Or
East,
ours.
yeah.
Shit,
they
they'd
could take
wipe
out
it
the NFC
clean.
East too.
God, that's gonna. Oh my God! And I've said this before, but I'm just
Those
so,
games are gonna be the best games. of
That's
the
what I
season
was
right
saying.
there.
We're
Yeah.
gonna get and just
Best
even
games of the
beyond,
season.
with the Chargers and Chiefs, we're gonna get 10+ years for
Herbert,
the next 10 years of Herbert versus
Mahomes.
Mahomes twice a year at least.
Yeah,
That's fucking awesome.
it's amazing.
That is awesome.
That's a battle for and Josh Allen whenever they clash in the AFC
Yeah,
because
dude, the
the
AFC
AFC
And
championship
Burrow.
and
Lamar.
Lamar. Lamar.
Yeah,
I mean,
my
it
God.
is
Lamar ain't
insane.
going. Everyone forgets about Lamar. Lamar ain't going nowhere.
No,
Dude, the AFC quarterbacks are really something else compared to the
God
NFC
we're in the
quarterbacks.
NFC.
Because
Yeah.
6-7
Yeah.
years ago, it was like the AFC sucks, NFC
Yeah.
quarterbacks.
Now
take
they're all
over.
just
Completely
cold.
And now it's
Yeah.
it
NFC
completely
blows
flipped
now.
scripts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The AFC
like
stacked.
yeah.
it is loaded with
I love it.
quarterbacks. So it's just a lot of high power going on now.
Yeah.
So I love it.
All right.
A lot of
well,
offense this year.
A lot of talent too. I feel like there hasn't been this
Mhm.
much. Like the NBA, we've seen the talent go on, but with the NFL, like there's so much talent everywhere. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I'm just gonna list off the power rankings and then we can move on to the NFC East. Okay, so honorable mentions: I got Titans, Saints, and Colts. Then at 10, I got the Oakland Raiders. 9, the Baltimore Ravens. 8, the Denver Broncos. 7, the Los Angeles Chargers. 6, Green Bay Packers. 5, the Tampa Bay Bucks. 4, Kansas City Chiefs. 3, Cincinnati Bengals. 2, Buffalo Bills, and 1, the Los Angeles Rams. All right, the NFC East.
Hold on. Shouldn't that be recording on all 3 sectors?
I
No,
think it
because look,
is.
I'm recording
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you talk.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
tripping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
because we
recording.
weren't talking. Like I'm retarded. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
All right, the NFC East. Where do we start?
NFC
Best
East?
division in football.
Who
Oh,
do you want to start with?
Definitely not.
Well, before we
God,
do
let's not
it,
start with the Cowboys.
Can we just
Before we do
can
it-
we just get the Giants and Commanders out of the way?
yeah,
and then we get into it?
I'll go ahead and get into the Eagles since I'll let y'all do the Cowboys since I know that's who y'all want to talk about. But I
Yeah,
can
I
get
don't
into
wanna
the
talk
Eagles a
about the
little bit.
Cowboys.
Let's just. I'll talk about. Okay,
Fuck the
first of all, I'm
Cowboys.
just gonna the Giants and Commanders. Like
yeah.
y'all
No.
don't think they're gonna win it, right?
No.
I don't think there's any chance.
I mean, Wentz is an upgrade.
Thing is Wentz
the Commanders have upside
there is
with Wentz, but
there's a possibility.
I don't see it.
If
though.
the defense,
and Chase Young's back this year.
Yeah, if like the defense for the Commanders is stout, like a top 5 defense,
when they had Chase,
and they run the shit out of the ball
like
with
it was
Gibson
2 years ago.
Yeah, and then I mean Wentz doesn't play like a dipshit. You still have McLaurin, you have Gibson, like you've got serviceable pieces on offense. Like I think they could win half their games, maybe.
Yeah, it could.
I mean,
I just think Carson Wentz is one of the most erratic. I think Carson Wentz
tries to do way too much.
Arguably has the lowest IQ of any quarterback ever. I mean, this guy's
especially
stupid. That pick he had last year against the Jags on like the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Carson, it's crazy. Like his downfall is so
game.
insane. Like he was like MVP running, gets hurt, Nick Foles in the Super Bowl, and ever since then his stock is just
been
absolutely plummeted, and no one even wants him. Like we saw the Colts were like, we do not want this guy. Like Wentz was sad about it. He won a Pat show. Like no one wants Wentz. Commanders was like, all right, it's Wentz or fucking Ryan Fitzpatrick or Heineke. Like we may as well take Wentz.
The Colts,
at least he knows this division, I guess. Like
the Colts really said. The Colts really said, I think we should see other people. Honestly, that's literally what the Colts told them. Like
they literally were like, dude, we don't want you. Like
is there any chance that Wentz makes the Commanders a wild card team?
There's a chance.
There's a slim chance.
There's a chance the Jags could make the playoffs. There's a chance for everything in the NFL.
Yeah, McLaurin's going to have to go for like 1,600 yards and 14 touchdowns. But
no, I think if it was to happen, I agree with you. They'd have to be run-heavy team.
The
Gibson's
defense.
Gibson's going to have 1,500.
Yeah.
They're going to have to win games 17-14 type of deal. Winston's going to throw 180, 2 touchdowns. And whatever, and call it that.
I mean, but we've seen defensive fronts lead teams to playoffs before, which this defense
a couple years ago
has
it's
the
that
talent.
loaded.
It's that loaded. It's that loaded. And 2 years ago, their defense was one of the most hyped up, best in the league. And
they're going to do a playoff team.
Last year, their defense they got a few injuries or whatever.
Injuries, but
it just fell apart. Like they still had. Fucking Payne. They still had Jonathan Allen. They still had Kendall.
They had Ioannidis.
They had guys. They just didn't show up.
I mean, 2 years ago, they were the closest team to beating the Bucs on that Super Bowl run.
Yeah, because that pass rush and that D line.
Yeah.
Would I bet money on it? No.
Now the Giants.
No
way, Jose.
No, this is gonna be a bad year to
Get
be
out
Giants.
of here.
It's a full rebuild
All right,
year.
let's hear your glass half full perspective on the Giants season.
If we go 8-9, I'll be stoked. Like
how y'all gonna go 8-9? I want to hear.
I just want to hear.
The offense would have to
Saquon.
The only way it happens is
Saquon isn't a contract.
Is if Martindale's system works and the blitz works. We do have a solid front four, but with Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and Azeez Ojulari had like 9 sacks rookie year.
Leonard's pretty fucking good.
So
he's really underrated.
It's
really young, but yeah.
But this whatever. The blitz has to work because our secondary sucks. So we have to get to the quarterback and we have to stop the run. And then Dable's got to be able to scheme guys open, which he can't do worse than Jason Garrett in that department.
That's very true.
It's obviously. It's all basically dependent on Daniel Jones not turning the ball over. And Saquon being healthy.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing too with like a lot of these middling teams. It's like they have the pieces. It's like, will your quarterback perform or not? Though?
That's literally all most.
Like the NFL is.
That's every team.
Is your quarterback consistent?
Like we know the teams are like the guys Mahomes, Allen. We know the guys are going to show up, but it's all of them. It's like Dak, is he going to show up? Hurt, like all these guys. It's like, will your QB show up?
Trey Lance, like, is he going to be great?
Like, there's not a more valuable position in sports. No. I don't think it's even close.
No.
Than being an NFL
not at all.
quarterback.
No,
it's not even close.
No.
But Rodgers is going to win his division this year with a bunch of like tools and garbage pieces for. Like he's
that's
going to
be a run.
Nothing.
That's going to be a run-heavy team this year. I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
it's going to be a run-heavy team.
Well, their defense was good.
That might be
year,
the best running back duo in the league.
That might.
AJ
Dillon's a god.
That's Thunder and Lightning. I like that
duo.
Yeah.
All right.
Oof.
Well, I don't know how much more we want to talk about the Giants. So let's go on to the two actual contenders. 1 sec. One second. Okay. All right. The Eagles. We'll get to the Cowboys last, just for fun. We kind of already touched on them a little bit.
Did he take it?
I want his vape.
They made a lot of.
Is that his?
Yeah.
He bought it.
Yeah.
That cannot be possible.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway, the Eagles made a lot of additions with A.J. Brown, Hassan Reddick, James Bradbury. They drafted Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean.
Steal the draft.
Can they win this thing?
I think the most underrated signing of all free agency was Hassan Reddick. He
Oh,
had
yeah.
11 sacks last year, bro. The fact that they got him for 1 year, $8 million, that amazes me. I don't know
Nice
how
little
they
prove it
got
deal.
that.
Was
It's
he
a
on the
prove it
Cardinals
deal.
last year?
He was on the Panthers.
The Panthers.
I don't know how. Like he's one of those.
That was a
pass
horrible
rusher
defense.
Guys. Like all of guys like that get paid fat. I don't know. Maybe he's has character
old.
concerns. He's not that old.
He's really not. No, he's
like
really not.
28.
He's sub
28's not
28.
that
Yeah.
He might be 27. Yeah, but they got Jordan Davis. They got Nakobe Dean in the third, which Nakobe Dean obviously on paper everyone's gonna be like, oh, that's gonna
That
be a
could
great
end up being
pick.
a huge.
But
steal.
I think there's a reason
that's
that
Devin
Nakobe
White
Dean
2.0.
fell. I think there's a
Yeah.
reason though that he fell to the third. You know.
Well, you gotta
Like,
think
I
size.
think, like,
There was that
Size.
shoulder
Well, no,
injury he
has
didn't
a-
want to get
he's had
surgery
bad
on.
injuries too. So like there's like anytime a guy drafts that falls that late, it's like us as the public be like, oh, like why did anyone take him? But like there's a reason. There's a reason Jalen Smith went in the second round. You know?
Right.
Like, there's a reason these guys fall.
Well, we've
But
seen guys like DK fall.
I
and
think
end up being
Jordan
studs.
Davis is going to be a monster.
Right.
Their front seven, the Eagles' front seven stacked now.
Yeah.
Fletcher Cox has been
their
needing some help
their run
up there.
defense is going to be insane.
Fletcher, Javon Hargrave. You
Yeah.
got Jordan Davis out of the equation. I think they still have Brandon Graham, who's a above average
I think
defensive
so.
end.
Do they?
I think.
And
so.
they have Josh Sweat, who they just re-signed last offseason. Who's
How's
a
Derek
up-and-coming
Barnett?
speed rusher.
He's-
Barnett
Yeah,
is like a
he's
rotational
He's
player.
an edge
Yeah.
rusher.
Well,
Yeah.
they signed Bradbury too. They have Bradbury and Slay now on the corners.
Yep, they got a
Like
great
the
corner
Eagles,
duo.
like you can't like pick out. I mean, maybe they're linebackers, but like you can't really pick out a spot on the Eagles outside of Hurts. Be like that's a clear, glaring weakness for them.
yeah.
And
they
then
have their identity. They're going to run the shit out of the ball. They're going to provide pressure. They're going to have Slay and Bradbury on the corners. Like
That's
if I'm betting,
great duo.
If I'm betting for the NFC winner, I'm betting on the Eagles. And we haven't
The
seen
NFC
back.
East winner.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
NFC East winner. I'm
Yeah,
picking Philly.
NFC
I'm not
East winner.
picking
I'm
Dallas.
taking
I am
Philly
too.
Even though I
also.
love the Cowboys, I'm not picking them, and we haven't seen a back-to-back
More questions
winner
about them.
in like 15 years.
Since the
Yeah.
04 Eagles.
I'm
like,
worried about the
logically,
O line for the Cowboys.
And like
this
hypothetically,
year.
it
Yep.
makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Because that's a big question. Because I think the Cowboys have more. So the Cowboys have more questions to answer this year because they need to have a great year from CD, which I think he's going to have a great year too. But I think they need to see that they need Dak to really pick it up. But there's really just one big question with the Eagles, and that's how's Jalen Hurts going to develop this year? And if he develops to
Hurts.
if he takes that
develops
leap,
to above average, if he takes that leap, I mean, they are a very dangerous team because even if you have the tools to beat them, they're going to keep your best players off the field, especially if you're an offensively built team. I mean, and that defense is, I'd probably say it's an above average defense. The linebacking unit's probably the weakest of that team, but other than the front, I mean, they're going to be able to get pressure, stuff to run with those three hog mollies up front with Hargrave, Fletcher, and Davis. I mean, you're not going to be able to run the ball. A Madden reference right there. But I mean, they really have less questions. It's really just it's just one big question, and that's if Jalen Hurts is going to.
I would say that their secondary still could be a little suspect. I know they got Bradbury and Slay. There's a reason Bradbury got cut.
Slay's a good player.
Well,
Slay's a very good player.
But one corner though isn't solving. They have no safety help. But yeah, I agree. Like the thing I'm scared about with the Cowboys, obviously. We lost Amar. We lost a lot of pieces.
Lost a ton of
and
pieces.
also
the
one thing I feel like that no one's talking about that I'm scared with the Cowboys is how long is Michael Gallup going to be out? Right now they're like, oh, he'll probably be out 2, 3, 4 games. But if Michael Gallup's out half the season and we go in from week 1, the first half of the season with CeeDee Lamb, James Washington.
They're saying Gallup's going to be out to start this year?
Yeah, he's going to be out the first few games. Right now they're saying the first few games. But I'm saying like it could easily go for like half the season in my mind.
Oh,
hey, y'all got big James Washington.
He came off a terrible
injury. If they're
injury.
already saying at the beginning of July he's going to miss 4 games,
that's not
if
great.
We go
he
into
could miss 10 games.
We've already seen the Dak Prescott without Amari Cooper. He is Dak Prescott without Amari Cooper in his career is probably you'll probably have him around 18 to 22 out of the top 32 stars in the league.
It's like Kirk Cousins.
And we could he's probably worse without Amari.
Might be worse.
And we lost Amari Cooper, so they could easily roll in with fucking, obviously CD, James Washington, and then the rookie. Who's the rookie we got?
Tolbert.
He's gonna be our third best receiver.
And then Schultz.
I
mean, yeah.
And like
and
the
Tolbert,
reason the Cowboys have won in the past few years is because of our weapons on the outside. Because
and
you can't double up
play.
them. Because you have to focus on the run game. We got Zeke getting older here. We lost receiver here. Gallup's hurt.
Yeah.
We lost an O lineman with Williams, who I know gave a lot of penalties, but efficiently, and according to Pro Football Focus, he was a pretty good lineman. Biadic sucks. Who knows how this Tyler Smith guy is going to be? I don't know. There's too many. Like you said, there's too many questions. And unless Micah Parsons,
we're going to have to see
unless Micah Parsons
too,
can get 20 sacks.
Who'd y'all lose on defense?
The problem to those questions is they didn't answer it.
We lost Gregory. He was our only big loss.
That's it? That's not bad then.
Well, but the defense is going to have to continue to play like it did last year.
They have to improve from last year.
We're going to have the turnovers we did last year, which was an unprecedented.
Diggs is going to have to give up.
I see big regression coming.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Diggs is going to have to give up less.
And that's the thing. Like everyone says, Mikey's the ultimate Swiss Army knife. You can put him everywhere. So if we're playing a defense, if we're playing a run heavy team, we'll put him against the run. But it's like we also need him to rush the passer. He's our best pass rusher. Yeah, we have DeMarcus Lawrence, whatever the hell he's worth. But like when you if you have Parsons playing middle linebacker the whole game, you're gonna have barely any pass rush, and against a team that can like bootleg, pass the ball, like we're playing the Niners, they're gonna shred us because you're not gonna get to the quarterback. Diggs is good for 3-4 seconds. After that, he's gonna get burned, or you give him a double move. So like defensively, like we're gonna have to keep it up. And then offensively, all the holes, especially offensive line. I think offensive line's a big,
I forgot to big one too. That I said Williams for him, but they lost Collins. Like, are we like?
We lost Lael's a big loss.
Yeah, Lael Collins.
I meant to say Lael.
Like, I mean, that was
like I don't know about y'all, but
I don't know why y'all cut him.
I'm not very excited with Terrence Steele being the shoot-in starting tackle.
You should is he actually
right now?
Not a bad swing tackle off the fucking bench.
To be fair, he did well last year when Tyron Smith was out. He wasn't that bad.
He was serviceable.
He could make a step this year.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the other thing is like if Tyron Smith gets injured, which is what he always does, we're screwed. Like that was our problem last year. Everyone was like, "Oh, they had a good O-line." No, we didn't. If you watched our games, the defensive line was pushing us back 2 feet every time.
We have Tyrone and Zach. We have the names.
We have the names, but we've had that for 3 years.
We'll be lucky if Tyrone Smith plays 12 games next year.
We'll be lucky if Zach Martin's healthy. He got injured last year.
And the thing too is like, what do you do when Tyron goes down? Okay, you bump Terrence Steele left tackle. Who the fuck's playing right tackle? You already have a rookie at right guard. You already have Biadic at center, who's a below average center. You think Zach Martin's going to hold up the whole starting five?
And they lost.
And we've seen Dak over and over again shit his pants with a hand in his face.
And I hate to say it as a Cowboy fan, but like, I think arguably the Cowboys have the worst outlook of any team in the NFL for the future. We are so cap-strapped on these good, not great players. We have a good, not great quarterback. And our owner doesn't know we can draft, but we don't know how to sign players. We don't know how to, like.
We spend all our money on the players we draft because we get, good value in the third round. We're like, oh, this guy's a good starter. Let's pay him $15 a year. Like, that's the problem.
So
And I also, sorry, bro, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'll say with the Cowboys especially, like you could say probably other than the Giants who are kind of in tank mode anyway, they weren't really looking to add pieces to contend this year anyway. Nope. I would say the Cowboys had the worst offseason out of anyone in that division in terms of answering questions and filling holes.
I mean, you saw create more holes.
Exactly. You created more holes. I mean, to answer with Gallup, the only person y'all got that might do something is James Washington, because I would trust James Washington over that Tolbert guy. But that's not, if that's your second best receiver, that might hinder CeeDee's development in the long run. Because I think CeeDee's going to take that step. But if he doesn't take that step, and that's his second best receiver without Gallup, there's going to be problems because you're not going to have time to throw. You're not going to have gaps to run through. And then everything's just kind of loading up on the defense, which still has some question marks because they had a great year last year, a better than average year. So it's going to have to see how they progress from that last year, which I don't know if they're going to be better on defense than they were last year. Yeah. So there were big questions.
It's not the same situation as like the Packers, like losing Devontae Adams. You lost Devontae Adams, right? You got 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick for it. Yeah. We lost everyone and didn't get shit. What did we get for Cooper? A fifth-round pick? Yeah. Christian Kirk went for $80 million in the offseason. You're telling me that's all we could get for Amari Cooper? Like, we didn't do anything to replace anything we lost. All we did, we came in with holes already, a crippling offensive line, and we weakened the team around us, and we just drafted a few rookies, and it's like, okay, hopefully they're good. Like,
and just put more pressure on Dak.
And that all boils down to Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones thinks that he could like, because we have drafted very well in the past.
We're very good at drafting.
Probably the best in the league, and I'll give all the credit to Will McClay. But I think Jerry Jones put so many eggs in that basket of we're gonna draft well, so we can let this guy go, we can let that guy go. Oh, but we can't lose this guy. We'll pay him max dollars, even though he may not deserve it. And then that just it's a domino effect that affects the whole roster and fucks up everything.
Well, when you're paying your second best running back on your team $18 million in the season, you're already screwed from the get-go.
Anyone could have told you that was a triple sign. And you mentioned CeeDee Lamb too. I love CeeDee Lamb, but I think from a fantasy perspective and a statistical perspective, I don't think CeeDee Lamb's going to have that good of a year. I mean, we haven't even seen him put up, star numbers, and that was with Amari Cooper. With Amari Cooper, Amari Cooper is the guy on that team when he's in that's getting shadowed, playing.
CeeDee just reminds me a lot of D-Hop, a young
CeeDee Lamb,
D-Hop.
These past 2 years, gets single coverage, and he drops a lot of passes. He's great yards after the catch, but now this year, teams are going in, they're saying, hey, CeeDee is their, especially with the time Gallup being out. CeeDee Lamb is the only vertical threat we really have to worry about on this team. Double cover him all day. We'll do whatever you. We're gonna take him out of the equation, Belichick style.
Blitz
completely.
The shit out of Dak.
We know Zeke ain't running it for 60.
No.
Pollard maybe in the O line. I don't think CeeDee's gonna have a very if fantasy wise, I'm not taking CeeDee.
I agree.
I agree
with
fantasy,
that.
Just because I think the target share is gonna be there.
You're
gonna see him get 10 to 12 targets.
He's gonna get targets, but
so for PPR, he's gonna. I think he'll still be good.
I think teams are gonna focus so much on him.
Yeah, but I mean that happens with everyone. Devontae Adams gets doubled, and
I think
107.
I think he's good enough to handle that.
The sample size with Devontae, to where we know what he can do when he gets shadowed.
Right.
But we haven't
from a strict fantasy perspective, if he gets 150 targets, he's going to be a good fantasy receiver. Which we're going to throw him the ball probably 10 times a game.
There's been I feel there's been a lot of players where they'll go in with that mindset, and then they're like, okay, this isn't working, and then we have to move to our next option.
Yes,
and
now if that happens,
with
yes,
Devontae
but I don't know how we do that.
We know how they'll function with double team getting shadowed. CeeDee, we haven't seen this yet.
I mean, this is a make or break for Kellen Moore, too. Kellen Moore's going to have to get creative and find ways to get him the ball, or the offense isn't going to move. Because we're going to either have to run these flashy plays for Pollard to get him out in space, which teams will pick up on. We're going to have to use CeeDee as that X, Julio Jones, Mike Thomas,
and
yes, he
y'all have lost that advantage up front y'all have had for years. Y'all have the better O line.
I think that's the biggest.
I think that's a huge thing because that's going to cause problems with if Bitat. I don't even know how to say your center's name because he's so shitty. But if that guy, Biatch is if he's even worse, and if that's your interior O lineman where you're mostly. We know Zeke's not hitting many outside stretches this year, even if he looks like he's working out this offseason. That's Tony Pollard's game. But in all honesty, he's hitting.
Zeke incoming?
He's a A and B gap runner. He's not going anywhere outside the tackles right now because I don't know if the tackles, if Smith is hurt, I don't know if they can really create or hold the edge enough for y'all to really make a difference in that. So the O line is the biggest part of I think this year's regression of the Cowboys.
Of our team and
the O line, unless you have a Lamar Jackson or one of these crazy,
you can do crazy shit,
or even Mahomes who can get out of the pocket and make plays.
Mahomes is so good at that too.
Dak can't do that.
The O line is not everything, but the O line is behind
it's very important,
next there in the NFL. If you don't have a good O line, like I said earlier. Bengals were an outlier because of their weapons, and Burrow is mobile.
Right.
But with Dak, if he can't be mobile, if his O-line's deteriorating.
Well, we've seen it.
And we've
seen Dak with bad O-lines, and he's
when
terrible.
Dak doesn't have a run game either.
Yeah. And when it's all on Dak's shoulders, which it's going to be this year, we've never been good.
Well, that's why we're paying him $50 million, right?
That's right. Exactly. Then that's why we're screwed. Is because when you pay a quarterback.
Do y'all agree with me, though? On my take that I think that truly the Cowboys for the next 5 to 10 years have the worst outlook of any team in the NFL.
I don't know about the worst.
Okay, what about
outlook?
the next 10 years? Next 10 years.
That's hard.
I don't know about the worst.
Not the worst.
We hell. Okay, you can look at a team like your Texans, right? You look at a team like the Jaguars. These teams aren't tied down.
It's not all guaranteed money, so we can get out of contracts a lot easier in the NFL than you can MLB or NBA.
True.
Especially a lot of these contracts that are backloaded with all this money. A lot of that money's not guaranteed. So I don't think Zeke's later years are guaranteed. I mean,
I feel like we have Tyron Smith for another 8 years because we just keep restructuring his contract every year.
Oh, we're gonna be paying that dude till 2040.
Yeah, but there are ways in the NFL to make money around the cap by extending contracts, signing bonuses, dead money. Like, there's a lot of ways. So, like, I'm worried about the cap
veterans.
Yeah, because it's not guaranteed. It's like I'm worried about our like next 2 years outlook. I mean, we're gonna have Dak. So there's that. So I personally don't think Dak's an amazing. Like, I think
y'all still might have the
guy.
best
Well, in this
quarterback.
roster we had this last year is probably it's not gonna get any better than we had it. I don't think.
No, not talent wise.
Rookie season Dak, and then this past season, were the two most.
That run game though,
he's had,
and the great O lines.
That's it. I don't think it's.
Well, that's the thing. Is like if we start what we did with Romo, it's like in 20 whatever year we drafted Tyron Smith, 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
That was when the Cowboys put their foot down and said like, we're gonna build this offensive line for Romo. Right? It happened in 2014 with DeMarco Murray. Romo got hurt, and then it was 2016. And so we saw it still took a 3-year gap from when we had a shitty O-line, and that was hitting, like, hugely on everyone. Like, it wasn't like Tyron Smith was good. He was the best tackle in the league.
All
it wasn't
starters.
like Zach Martin was good.
All-pro.
Yeah, Zach Martin's been an all-pro every year. Frederick. So, like, even if you have that best-case scenario rebuild of the O-line, it's still going to take a couple years. So, like, we're looking at the next 2-3 years of having a below-average offensive line. And it's so stupid because everyone says we still have a good O-line. There's so many people that, like, rank O-lines like, oh, they still have, like, a top 5, 10 offensive line. It's like,
Besney,
no, we don't. That's just reputation.
It's just name recognition.
Yeah, I think, Besney, you and I talked about this last year, like, when we were just sitting in the couch watching football. Like, you and I are just sitting there, it's like, I think a lot of it had to do with the O-line because we saw last year was starting to deteriorate, and that's not how the O-line was playing the past 5 years. They were one of the best, I would say the best O-line in the previous 5 years until last season. Last season is when I really started to notice the regression.
It was as soon as Frederick retired. As soon as Frederick retired, that's when it just started to go. I mean, Tyron Smith's always had the problems.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
and Zach Martin is catching those same problems,
and now Zach Martin's getting older. So I think fixing I mean, if we could do something next season like the Bengals did with their O-line, totally in a different boat. I'm like, okay, we can be good again. We can win the division,
and that's dependent. And a lot of that's dependent on Dak too.
I mean, if we have
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if he's amazing,
if we have a good offensive line with the weapons we have and the defense we have, the Cowboys are going to win 11, 12 games with the weapons and the defense.
Are they going to win a Super Bowl?
Well, no. We're the Cowboys. Of course we're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Of course not. No.
We will not win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott at the helm.
I don't. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Dak can win a Super Bowl.
All right,
okay.
Same page.
So real quick, even with the losses, Amari Cooper losing, Lyle Collins and Connor Williams, this was. I mean, with them, they were the top 5 scoring offense last year.
Right.
Is there a chance
they
they're even
a top scoring offense?
Yeah. Is there a chance, even the way y'all are making it sound, they're going to be a bottom 15 scoring offense? So is there a chance that they can still be a top 10 scoring offense in this league?
Yeah, there's definitely a chance.
There's a chance.
There's a
and
chance.
Like we said,
that's dependent on Dak and CeeDee's connections.
Well, when you phrase the question that way, right? Like it's like there's a chance the Commanders could be a top 10. There's obviously a chance. There's a chance.
But if this was the top scoring.
There's a chance any team in the NFL could be a top.
Yes, but this was the top scoring offense.
Do I think it's going to happen? That's a different topic. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think the Jags could be a top 10 scoring offense.
They could be.
They will not.
Well, yes. I mean, obviously any team.
But like they could.
Obviously any team can.
Any team
it's all about the word could.
But like let's differentiate like could and will. Like let's find a middle ground.
A 1% chance is could. That's how I.
But let's not talk about like 1% chances. Like 33% chance. Like could they be a top scoring offense? Like Jags.
But yes, if the top scoring offense from the previous year isn't a top 10 offense, then
regression year.
It's not great. Okay,
I still think y'all win games this year, but just
I think we're a 9-8 team.
I still think we could win the division. We could make a wild card game. I think we're going to be right there neck and neck with the Eagles. I wouldn't be shocked.
It's going to be close.
The NFL puts
like
Cowboys,
a one-game
Eagles
difference.
Week 17
to
decide the division.
So as a unit, who's winning the NFC East?
Eagles.
Yeah, Philly.
Oh, that must have fucking hurt.
Clean sweep. That didn't even hurt me that much. I'm so disgusted with the Cowboys.
I wanted to say Cowboys
after
y'all said Eagles, but like I said Philly earlier. So
I'm still mortalized from last season with the Cowboys.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
we
got to.
record prediction? predictions?
Yeah, we can do record predictions off the cuff. I mean, we're gonna look at all the teams
Nah, let's
real
just
quick.
rip it.
Oh, no,
We gotta do it quick.
I just meant like don't even look. Just say
Yeah. Okay. Just guessing. Okay. All right. Giants.
4-13.
Or no, go,
Oh,
let's go
yeah,
first.
4-13 is my bet also.
And then Biggie and then me.
Okay. All right. Luke, go all through all 4 teams records off the cuff.
Okay, there we
Okay,
go.
Giants 4-13. Commanders 7-10. Cowboys 9-8. Eagles 10-7.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a dickhead, but for the real, can you repeat that from top to bottom?
Yeah. Giants 4-13. Commanders.
No. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Who wins the division? Who's
Oh.
who's third?
Okay. Eagles 10-7 win the division. Cowboys come in at second, 9-8. Commanders 7-10 in third place. Giants 4-13 last place.
Alrighty. So I got the Eagles going 11-6 this year, mainly because I think they'll be beating up on the Giants and Commanders easily this season. I got y'all at 10-7. I think y'all might have a bad game against the Redskins, or not Redskins. Sorry, I got to get used to that. The
Whoa
Commanders.
there, buddy.
Yeah, sorry.
You better watch yourself.
You better watch
yourself.
myself. Yeah. But I think with that front that they have, they might make a bad matchup for the Cowboys in one game, but I think y'all have better coaching to make up for in the second game. Then I have the Commanders going 7-10. And then lastly, I have the Giants going 4-13 purely because it's a big rebuild year. So they want to be bad. So
Woo.
Yeah. I got Philly going 10-7, taking the first place crown in the NFC East. I got the Cowboys also going 10-7 with Philly winning on the tie. I got the Commanders going 6-11, and I got the Giants going 3-14.
Jesus.
oh,
Okay, I got the Eagles.
Big Blue.
I got the Eagles going. I got the Eagles going 10-7, winning the division. I got the Cowboys going 9-8, finishing second. I got the Commanders going 8-9, and Giants are gonna go 6-11.
There you
and wrap
go.
things up. So
Hey.
it's gonna be great.
hey.
All
There
right.
you go.
That was pretty accurate. I mean, all around, we
It's
were pretty
weird
much the
saying them
exact
with
same.
17 games.
I
was
know.
Yeah, I
gonna
know.
say
I had to
Cowboys.
think about it
You
for a
have to
second.
think about
10-6,
it.
and I was
Yeah.
like,
You
wait,
have
it's
to think
10-7.
about it.
Okay.
I'm used
All
to
right.
the
We got to take a
9-7
break.
seasons.
We got to
Yeah.
charge this thing for a second, but we'll be back.
Give us 5.
And we're back from the break. So now that we got the NFC East done with, we're going to get things going with our NFC quarterback tier list. We are going to start with Luke, and we're going to go one by one with everyone else putting in their
We start
however they
from
feel about
top or bottom on this list. Start
Just
from the top.
start from the top.
All right.
Okay, here you go, Luke.
Tier 1, the elite tier in the NFC. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Matthew Stafford. That is my tier 1 elite tier. Tier number 2, dynamic. Only one in that is Kyler. He's not elite just yet, but he's dynamic. He's not middle of the pack, but he's not like one of these elite guys. So he's in a tier by himself at dynamic. Third tier, meh. In the meh tier, we have Dak, we have Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Baker Mayfield. All guys that you can win games with. You got a good team around them. Guys that can maybe get you a playoff win on a good team. I don't know if they can take you to a championship or not. Fourth tier is exciting / need to see more. That is Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, Trey Lance, Jameis Winston, and Carson Wentz. All guys have like moderate upside. They got big arms. They have some athletic trait where they could be really good in a game. Need to see more. We need to see him consistently play well. Fifth tier is the really meh tier. These guys are like borderline backups, like can maybe get you to 8-8 or 8-9 on a good team. That tier is Danny Dimes and Marcus Mariota. And the last tier is the stop playing football tier. That includes Drew Lock and Sam Darnold. And that's the 6-tiered NFC tier list.
Hey, you forget about Geno Smith.
Okay,
Come
Geno
on now.
Smith goes in the really meh.
Yeah.
He goes in the really meh tier.
You don't
He
think
should go
he's
in the
gonna
stop
stop
playing
playing
football
yeah.
tier.
Or that
yeah,
tier.
I think that's where
Or
it
that
belongs.
tier.
I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I don't like your tier list at all.
Why?
All
Why-
right.
Why is
I got
why
some
is
changes
Kyler
to
Murray in
mine,
his
yeah.
own? What does that mean? Dynamic? What does that even mean?
He's not elite yet. I don't think Kyler's elite, but he's in a tier by himself because he's better than like
these goodish quarterbacks. He has special traits.
What has Kyler done to prove that him and Dak Prescott should not be in the same tier?
What has he shown you?
He's shown me, one, his athletic ability. I think he's more talented. I think he has more upside than Dak. I think we've seen
upside,
Dak
but we're
capped
not
out.
basing upside. We're basing right now.
Yeah, I think he's a more talented, better player
he's
than
definitely
Dak.
more talented.
I don't think he's as. I think he is more close.
But is he a guy the locker room can get behind? Is he a guy that's
they
going to put his body on the line?
I don't know about that.
I mean, I don't know yet, but he is a dynamic. He is a special talent. None of these guys below him, Dak, Kirk, Goff, Garoppolo, Baker, none of those guys below him have what Kyler has. Kyler has a talent advantage on him, but he's not consistent enough to be elite. I have him in a tier by himself.
I agree with you that he has more talent, but I don't think a player should have their own tier.
I'm fine with them having their own tier.
I'm just gonna give you how I think.
I feel like that's just the NFC. They just kind of have their own. I think
I think Kyler's better than Dak as a talent perspective, but I don't think he's consistent enough yet to be considered with Brady, Stafford, and Rodgers.
I also do not think that Stafford belongs in the Brady Rodgers tier. I think
Stafford's an elite.
I think if he has another great year, he's in there.
How I define elite is a guy that's going to elevate their teammates. They are going to win because of this guy.
I don't think the Rams won because Stafford was great.
Well, he was obviously a huge integral piece, but I don't think they win solely because of Stafford. We saw them make the Super Bowl.
Neither did the Brady. The Bucs didn't win the Super Bowl because of Brady solely.
Well, they had injuries.
I'm talking about the year before they won the Super Bowl. They won that because of defense and Leonard Fournette, just as much as Brady.
Okay, we can't put Brady in that argument. Brady's won 7 Super Bowls.
I'm not. But I'm saying in the tunnel you're looking in, it's the same thing. Brady went to a ready-made great team. So did Stafford. Right now, I don't think there's a massive difference between Stafford and Brady. I'd say Brady's a little better. But I think they're all elite quarterbacks.
I think Stafford's third on the NFC list.
Yes, I agree. I would have Brady and Rodgers.
I don't think he's in Brady and Rodgers tier. I have him a niche below.
I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that. But I think Stafford's an elite quarterback. I think he's a top 6, 7 quarterback in the league.
I don't think he's top 6 or 7.
Okay, well I do. So what else you got?
Wait. Okay, so you had. Did you have Jared? Where did you have Jared Goff?
In the meh.
No, but where ranking?
Garoppolo, Baker, Kirk Cousins, Dak.
Wait, you're counting. Why are you counting Garoppolo?
Because I don't know who's going to start.
Well, I think Trey Lance is obviously starting, right?
I think that's not that.
I don't think
right
that's.
now.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, that's not a. Yeah. That's like a.
I included.
I would be shocked if Trey Lance does not start week 1.
I wouldn't. I could see Garoppolo starting. I don't.
I think that would fuck up the chemistry and the philosophy of the team.
It might, but I don't think anyone's going to be shocked if that.
So,
happens.
what number on your list did you have Goff?
I don't have numbers. I just have tiers.
Well, where is he? Where if you Brady?
If I had to rank them.
Yeah. Where is he on your ranks? Just count them up real quick.
Well, this is tiers. So, I don't have them ranked. Like I would have Jalen Hurts over Goff, but I need to I have him in a different tier because I don't think they're the same player. You know what I'm saying?
I did mine differently. I did mine by my rankings, and then I ranked them in tiers.
Okay, I did more of
tiers.
It's like a tier. I don't have specific. I would because
I did mine by tiers, but I also just have 1 through 16.
Okay, so
well.
So in the meh tier, if I had to rank the meh tier of the 5 quarterbacks, I would do Dak number 1, Kirk 2, probably Jimmy G 3, and then Goff or Baker toss up at 4 and 5.
So would you? Let me ask you this: would you have Goff ahead of Hurts?
No, I think Hurts is a better quarterback than Goff.
Okay, so that's just how you worded that.
Yeah, it's because for Hurts, I have him in the exciting need to see more tier.
It's just how okay.
Yeah, I need to see what Hurts does this year to put him in a different tier. Basically, I need to see more. Yeah. So the exciting need to see is Fields, Hurts, Trey Lance. Trey Lance could end up in, for me, dynamic tier with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
If he's amazing because he has specific traits that separate him from the pack. But I don't know. I need to see him. So that's where I have Hurts. I need to see Hurts. I need to see him improve his accuracy and everything and lead a team to a division win and maybe a playoff win. You want to see it?
I like y'all having. I like Rodgers and Brady up, and I call that the gimme that tier because basically any team would take any chance to get out of those people to contend. And then after that, I have Stafford in the tier 2, which is like the knocking on the door tier. And that's because like he has the numbers that are better than Dak and Kyler, who it's Stafford, Dak, and Kyler in my knocking on the door tier. But I think Stafford still has more accolades that he could get better at to where he's in that gimme that range. So for that reason, I have him in tier 2. And then following that, it's Kyler and then Dak in that order. Then next I got slow and steady wins the race. I have Hurts in there, but he could easily jump that if he has a great season, which I personally think he's going to have a really good year. And then I got Kirk Cousins and I got Carson Wentz in the steady. And the only reason I have him in there, I know he can make some boneheaded plays and do some stupid stuff like that. But with the Colts, until that Jacksonville game, he was actually looking like a decent addition until that Jacksonville Jaguars game where he just shit the fucking bed. So because of that, I'm taking him in my steady just because I think you know what you're getting with him, and it's definitely better than other options. And then after that, it's like the Lance or Jimmy, whichever way, whoever wins that is in the next tier, which is like maybe I'm wrong about him. And then it's Jameis Winston, Justin Fields, and Goff in there. So that's like, maybe they prove me wrong, maybe they don't. But we kind of know we're going to get out of Goff, and those other quarterbacks, they have some things to prove for sure. And then lastly, I have that I think we should see other people group, and this is consistent of Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, Danny Dimes, Mariota, and the Smith Drew Lock quarterback battle, which I can't believe that's even a fucking thing, but apparently it is. So yeah, so those are my tiers, but I like a lot of what y'all have. I just have Stafford one tier below you, Luke. Purely off of accolades.
No,
accolades compared to the two.
I can get up. Like if I were to rank the 3, obviously, I don't think Stafford's as good as Rodgers and Brady.
Right, yeah.
My tier list, I had elite as my top tier. I think Stafford's an elite quarterback. Now, I don't think he's as good as the other guys in the tier, but I think he belongs in there over any of the other ones. Yeah. So.
Right. I did mine basically like Brady and Rodgers are like the groundwork and everything. Like you get everything started because those are the front runners, obviously, like no doubters. The give me that. So that's what I call them. So yeah. So that's why they're in my top 2. Yeah.
Name. I like that one.
Yeah. I don't really have any problems with your tier. Honestly, I like it.
Yeah.
But my tier, I have like you had Big E. I have Brady and Rodgers in the elite tier. And with elite tier, I think they elevate their team. They elevate the players around them. You're gonna win because of this guy, Brady and Rodgers. Then in my second tier, these guys are quality, high upside starters. You can succeed with them and win a lot of games with the right pieces around them. And I have Matt Stafford leading that off within Kyler, Dak, and Kirk Cousins. And then my third tier is we either know what they are or they do have high upside. And I have Hurts, Lance, Jameis, Wentz, and Fields. And then my last tier, I just titled as trash. And
dog water.
I have Jared Goff, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold / Baker Mayfield. We're going to do that. Mariota, then Geno Smith / Drew Lock.
I like it.
I don't like having Stafford and Kirk Cousins in the same tier. I think we've seen both with like we saw Kirk Cousins with a great Vikings team, and we saw Stafford with a great Rams team, and there's a massive difference in outcome and production.
And I think Stafford was still better with the Lions, too. Well, Stafford might have been better than the Lions.
I understand that
Cousin is on the Vikings.
But that's why, like Stafford is the pinnacle of this second tier, right? And Kirk Cousins is in the basement, the dweller of it. And Kirk Cousins still has made the playoffs, 3-4 times?
He can get the job done.
Yeah. So that's why I view them in the same tier. Obviously, I'm picking Stafford over Kirk every day of the week.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Stafford elevates his team on a level that Brady and Rodgers does.
So is Stafford more of a low tier 1 guy or a high tier 2 guy?
Personally, I would say low tier 1 if we're not including accolades, because I feel like a lot of what Rodgers and Brady is with their accolades. But if we're going purely off like the most talented quarterbacks, I would have him as a lower tier because I think he's a step below Stafford. Or he's a step below Brady and Rodgers, but at the same time, I think he's a couple steps ahead of Dak and Kyler.
Yeah,
but he's right in between. Yeah, if anyone had their own tier, it would be him. If that made any sense, he would be the one to have the Stafford tier.
I agree with that because he's proven. Kyler, Dak, Kirk, they haven't proven as much as Matthew. Matthew now is a Super Bowl, so he's proven that. Yeah, I agree. I think he's the pinnacle of the tier 2 list. And that's why I didn't put him in the elite, because I don't feel he belongs in the same conversation as Brady and Rodgers.
I mean,
right, and that's because of the accolades.
Because those guys are two of the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks of all time.
I'll play devil's advocate. I mean, there's a case, other than the MVPs and the highlights that Aaron Rodgers has given us.
Oh no,
same amount of Super Bowls.
I'm just saying, like, is there a huge difference between Stafford and Rodgers?
I think if you put Rodgers on the Rams,
because we can't just take out Rodgers for MVPs. We can't just do that.
I know. I'm just saying though, like talent wise, give a great team to both players. Does the team get worse or better by a drastic margin depending on your quarterback?
It's probably not drastic, but
not drastic.
The thing I will say though is we don't judge players off that. We judge them of how they have done with their track record.
Right. Unfortunately, but Stafford was on the Lions
and that's
forever.
what I'm saying. Unfortunately, to Matthew Stafford, he was born into a shitty Lions organization with not that much talent through most of his time.
In the playoffs with them once though.
But I can't. Yeah, exactly. Once,
yeah.
So I can't, and he didn't even win a game with them in the playoffs. Lost to the Cowboys. Yep. One of the Cowboys' few playoffs was recently.
We got lucky that
we
game.
Did. So yes,
you're the pass interference. No problem, baby.
Stafford his props. He got a Super Bowl. It's gonna go so far for his legacy.
Okay,
but I can't put him and Aaron Rodgers in the same conversation.
Let me switch the question. Matthew Stafford gets drafted to the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers gets drafted to the Lions. What's the difference in their careers?
Well,
does Aaron Rodgers make the Lions a perennial playoff team?
So I think
they're a consistent playoff team, but to be honest, I think
I don't think so.
I think if that, well, I mean, most of Rodgers' early days with the Packers, they did not have good defenses either.
They won the Super Bowl.
They had Clay Matthews.
They had like a top 10 defense.
They had some good, but it wasn't a consistently dominant defense by any means.
I mean, it was a top 10 defense.
It was never a dominant. The team wasn't led by their defense, though.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't like
the thing I want to say too
defenses.
Is like I truly believe that if that was the case to where Aaron got drafted by Detroit, I think Stafford's a loyal guy to where he stuck around. We got Calvin Johnson. We got loyal to his team, his organization, his fans, his coaches. I think Aaron's the type of personality where after 3 or 4 years he would say trade my ass.
Probably.
I think that's honestly,
I see that, but
if that would have happened in a hypothetical world, I don't think Aaron would have been there nearly as long.
I don't know though, because no one did that back then. That would have been
that would have been Aaron Rodgers would be the guy that would do that though.
I don't know. He's been with Green Bay for his whole career. They've had some bumps. Like
he hasn't been more outspoken until these last couple years.
Yeah, he's been very much nose to the grindstone.
But then that's
most
what
of
we
his
say
career.
too. Aaron's been blessed into a very good system his whole career in Green Bay. He learned from Brett Favre. He had Mike McCarthy, who at the time was a great coach, great pieces around him year in and year out.
But if he was drafted Lions, he would have had Calvin Johnson. So he would have stuck around till Johnson left, and then he probably would have signed a 5-year giant contract at the time. And so he still probably would have been there for 9 years.
The big thing
maybe not as long as Stafford, but I think he still goes for 8-9 years. I don't think after his rookie contract he's like, I'm out of here.
I don't see him as a Detroit guy.
I don't see him as a Green Bay guy either.
Yeah.
You could make a case Green Bay's even of a smaller market.
He may do with it.
Well, of course, because he had a great organization around him that won him a Super Bowl.
That's the thing. Like, I think it's different because Rodgers was gifted and blessed by the fact that he got to learn from Brett Favre. I think if he got drafted by the Lions, he would be playing day one, first off. So who really knows So, I mean, you can say like, oh, he would have been amazing. But, I mean, I think a big part of Rodgers' success is he sat for, 2 years, 2.5 years, and just sat behind Brett Favre just to learn. And once he came in, he was ready to go. And you saw the same thing with Pat. He got blessed with where he might have been better than Alex Smith, but in terms of like what they could do as a game manager and less risk and like things that win you football games.
Definitely better than Alex Smith.
Oh yeah, talent-wise, yeah. But I'm saying back then, Alex Smith he wasn't turning the ball over. He wasn't making dumb mistakes.
Good quarterback. Yeah,
he was a good game manager, and so at that time, it's like, oh, we don't need to throw him out yet. But they knew what was going to happen. So I think it's different if you put Rodgers on the Lions and Stafford on the Packers, because I think Stafford could have been just as successful because he was more NFL ready, in my opinion, than Rodgers coming in. But at the same time, you bring Rodgers and you put him in a day one starting. Who knows how he progresses? Because we've seen guys who get drafted high and they're on a shit team and they just do horrible and it ruins their career.
Well, and that's
so much
of
it is about whatever you're drafted into.
Yeah,
and like that's been the thing too. Like that's before he won this Super Bowl. Like that has been the narrative of Matthew Stafford's career, right? It's like,
he's stuck.
Like we all know that his talent is super immense, that he's one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time, arguably. But he got drafted into a shitty system. His stepdad was beating him. His mom was a drug addict. The worst family of all time, right?
No good.
Yeah.
And so that shit, and like,
bad
I
family.
like your question on that, though.
That's a bad family.
It's a bad family. You don't want to be a part of this, okay? Your uncle's, he's doing whatever.
He's doing
whatever he's doing.
Shout out Brophy, episode or 2 ago. But yeah, but that's been like Matthew Stafford, like, and that's why I'm happy that Stafford got this chip, right? Because
Me
like,
too. Yeah.
that's been his narrative his whole career. It's like we know what he is. We've seen him make these plays. We've seen him beat Aaron Rodgers but we don't know what he can do in a good system. And now, yes, to your credit,
we do. Yeah.
he is in a good system. He won a Super Bowl his first year. Hats off to him. But I'm still not ready to put him in the Brady Rodgers tier.
That's fair. I mean,
but I understand the idea and the argument.
I think there's another thing about the if you were to swap places with where they are drafted in like the mindset of Aaron Rodgers and the mindset of Stafford. We've seen Rodgers more prickly. He's more passive aggressive. He's more emotional, with people, whether it's good or bad. Who's to say
the media,
Who's to say he goes to Detroit, has 2 bad years, and mentally shuts down? Now, probably that doesn't happen.
But worst case there.
Yeah, but I think you saw Stafford just push forward, whatever. I'm here. I mean, you could say that really could have affected Rodgers, and it might not have. He might not have
if
been.
It wasn't
as
a
great
perfect
as he
situation his entire career.
Exactly.
He could have got prescribed to his Vagisil at the age of 24 instead of 34.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we've seen what happened to him when he wasn't in the perfect situation. He started crying and bitching all the time.
Yeah.
So
and that's obviously looking deep down the rabbit hole of what could hypothetically happen if this took place or whatever. But yeah, it's an interesting idea to think about.
Yeah. Right. I would honestly. Oh, sorry. You go ahead. Sorry, bro.
Let me just do my tier list real quick, and then because we're pretty much gonna have the same argument probably between Rodgers and Stafford, but unless y'all find something crazy with mine. Okay, so I did a championship tier, guys that can take you to a Super Bowl, win you a Super Bowl possibly. I got Brady, Rodgers, Stafford.
Good man.
And then I got guys. I have playoff winner 2 guys that can maybe win you a playoff game, maybe 2. I got Dak and Kyler in that category. And then for wild card, but probably not, guys that can maybe get you the wild card, but more than likely won't. They're just kind of that middle of the pack guys. I got Hurts, Winston, Wentz, Cousins, Goff, and I can put Lance / Jimmy G in there, whatever you want to do there. And then losing, probably gonna get you a good draft pick. Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Mariota, Darnold / Mayfield, Geno / Locke.
Okay, I think it's honestly disrespectful to Kirk Cousins to put him in Goff's tier.
I do too, a little bit. To be honest,
I think
just
Kirk
because
Cousins
he
belongs in that can win you a playoff game or 2 tier.
And he's also proven to do more.
I can't get on board
obviously
with that.
Kirk's not going to elevate you, but if Kirk Cousins has the pieces around him, he can win a wild card game.
He's had the pieces around him.
He has.
He's had Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook.
And when he went to that Vikings team, remember that team was coming off. That team was coming off the NFC Championship game with Case Keenum when he went there. Yeah. That defense was loaded. Everson Griffin,
let me ask you this: how much better is Dak Prescott than Kirk Cousins?
Not that much.
Not that much better.
Honestly, not that much better. Dak just has more upside.
And I have them in the exact same tier. Yeah. I have no problem with Dak and Kirk Cousins.
But to put Kirk in the same tier as Goff,
I mean, Goff's been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I have Goff in the same tier as Dak and Kirk.
I also don't think Goff's that. I don't think he's that horrible.
I think Goff's.
I think he's average. Trash. I mean, he's an average quarterback.
I think Goff can win a playoff game on a good team.
He could get to a wild card game.
He went to a Super Bowl and then he won another playoff game with a broken hand against the Seahawks 2 years ago.
That's why I kind of have him in my maybe I'm wrong. Just maybe I'm wrong because
Goff a little too much.
Yeah, that's what I have because maybe I shit on him. Yeah,
that was a bad team.
I know, but maybe I'll go a little recency bice on Goff and maybe I'll reel it in a little bit.
I fucking love Dan Campbell though. I'll tell you that much. Off topic, but I fucking love Dan Campbell.
That's all right.
I think you got Dak too high.
No, I just
Sips is wide.
Okay, so for your tiers, the ones like the tiers you came up with, I'm fine where he is.
Yes,
but I don't know.
Yeah,
I think Dak more belongs in a Kirk Cousins tier than he does a Kyler Murray tier.
personally.
That's fair.
I think they're much
That's
more of
fair.
the same style of player.
That's fair.
Okay, let me ask you this too. So when you're losing, probably getting a good draft pick here, you have Justin Fields. Is that because of Justin Fields as the player, or is that because of the Chicago Bears as the team?
I just didn't like what I saw. I just didn't like what I saw
think
from
Justin
him last year.
Fields
But
could end up being a good player in this league.
I do too.
He has one of the Bears probably have one of the worst rosters in the league right now.
Yeah.
They had this function
their
with Matt
offense was
Nagy as the head
anemic.
coach.
Yeah.
Like they're one of the most
And they have
dysfunctional
a
teams
horrible
in the
O
league.
line.
Yeah.
Horrible
Yeah.
O line.
Horrible
I mean-
O-line.
And
Allen
like,
Robinson was. I love A-Rob, but he was
Oh.
checked out. Everyone's Darnell Mooney's that sleeper, year in and year out. David Montgomery's
Hang
he's a
on.
good running back.
Let me go in on the Bears real quick. I've been sitting on this for a fucking
All right, let's hear
minute. The Bears, to
Eberflus?
do what you did, if you're the Chicago Bears, you've never had a good quarterback. You draft the most highly touted guy in your franchise. Say what you want about Trubisky, there's more hype about Justin Fields, right? What you do in your first year, you run the most anemic offense you possibly can. You run some of the worst play calling. You don't feature your good receiver, and you run your good running back into the dirt up the A-gap every single play. What do you do in the offseason with your
Nothing.
super talented, super hyped up guy that the fans are excited about at
Well,
quarterback?
they don't have any cap.
you draft a defensive
is what you
coordinator,
do.
or you hire a defensive
Instead of
coordinator.
going to get an offensive guy at coach, which is what everyone does, even Miami did with Tua getting Mike McDaniel, you get the Colts defensive coordinator. You get the Colts D coordinator when everyone's going offense for their young guys. Not only do you that, you don't do anything to help out his weapons. Instead, you just let Allen Robinson walk for free as number one receiver. You say, yeah, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, David Montgomery, still a shitball offensive line. Go get it with your new defensive
Good luck.
coordinator head coach.
Good luck, Justin.
That is one of the worst offseason jobs I've seen in a while with a young, hyped up top pick quarterback. I think that
they
was
did nothing
terrible.
to help him.
It
I
wasn't
agree with
good,
that,
but
honestly.
if I'm gonna be the argument for the Bears, I don't have a huge problem with the Eberflus signing. Like he's proven he's a defensive-minded coach, and
So was Vic Fangio.
all of these. Okay, every team gets in love with these offensive-minded head coach. They don't always pan out. They're not going to pan out every time.
When does the defense work out? Other than Sean McDermott. That one worked out, and that worked out because Josh Allen.
I can
went
attest to
gone.
the
and this is a
defense,
new
yeah.
trend, seeing these guys in their 30s get hired. So we don't have a big sample size on it yet.
Right.
But then again, the Bears cap. It's not like they go out and sign a bunch of big names. They're already cap strapped.
Are
what.
they?
Yeah,
I think so.
they're not good in the cap.
Khalil
From what
Mack
you're
kinda
saying,
screwed
I don't
them. Yeah.
blame who's in office right now. I put all the blame on Ryan Pace. Ryan Pace fucked that
Yes.
team up. That's who
yeah.
I would put all the blame on. That
Yes.
guy made. I don't know how they kept Ryan Pace in there for fucking 7-8 years. He drafted Kevin White.
Marcus
he drafted
High
Mitch
School
Trubisky.
alum right there, baby.
Oh
He
yeah.
Oh,
traded
my
Khalil
God.
Mack for a fucking few. Like Ryan Pace, I think is the worst general manager of all time. And the fact that
Might
they
be.
stuck. And I think like Matt Nagy was not the best, but I think like he got shit on a little too much because he got put in that dumpster fire with Ryan Pace. And I think all of the blame is on Ryan Pace. Ryan Pace, the only good thing Ryan Pace did was sign, which looked like a horrible move at the time, was signing Robert Quinn last year for 4 years, $80 million.
Yeah.
Which anyone in the moment that signed was like, what the fuck is he doing? And then he goes out and gets like 16 sacks last year.
Yeah.
But that's the only good move he's ever had. I put all the blame on Ryan Pace.
Well, I mean, I think
He
you
sent
could
this
say
team
that the
back for
Khalil Mack
years.
trade. I mean, they gave up a lot for Khalil Mack, but he was really good for like 2 years. He was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
arguably the best defensive player in the league. I
they got
just think
screwed
like
because of
if
that,
you're
too.
your fan base is excited for once about a quarterback.
Chicago wants to win.
You've never had a good. Who's the best quarterback in Chicago?
Well, they were
history?
excited. They were excited.
Who's
about
their
Trubisky.
OC?
Not as they
Rex
were about
Grossman.
Fields. They were excited about Trubisky, but not like Fields. Remember the hype about Fields coming out after the draft? Everyone was like, "Oh my God, we just got the second best quarterback in the draft."
Yeah,
like,
yeah, he
we
slid.
fleeced everyone. All we
Yeah.
did was give up a first round pick. Like if you're Chicago, especially someone who's like your top quarterback ever is what? Jim McMahon, Jay Cutler, like.
Rex
And it's
Grossman.
Chicago. Like it's the Bears. It's one of the biggest
Don't forget.
brands in the
Don't forget.
sport.
Yeah.
Like I get your cap trap. There's things you can do. Go get Mike McDaniel. Go get Kellen Moore. Go get an offensive-minded play caller and hope he turns out like Zach Taylor. Hope he turns out like Sean McVay. Hope he turns out like Kyle Shanahan. Don't go down the retroactive like path of getting the old defensive coordinator who had a good defense and his team
Well,
missed
okay,
the playoffs.
First of all, Uberless isn't old. He's
How old
like
is he?
Eberflus.
Eberflus. He's like 40. He's not
Uberflus.
old.
Well,
He's not old, but and he's an ascending. My thing is not the coach. My thing's the personnel. Like they've traded
Allen Robinson.
They've traded their draft. Robinson got 16. Robinson didn't want to be there anymore.
I know, but what did they do to replace him?
I think even
Nothing.
if they, what's their cap? I'm pretty sure they do not. They're not swimming in cap room.
The Saints were minus 60 in cap, and they still signed.
And that's why I say, like, I think most of it boils down to Ryan Pace because they are in this position because of Ryan Pace.
Yes,
I
think they could have
Matt
done
Nagy
more.
got shit on and looks like a terrible head coach because of Ryan Pace.
That Bears versus Browns game plan that he put out
because it's
was
like
atrocious.
Okay, but here's the thing, right? Like you're talking about earlier, like what if we swap Stafford and Rodgers, right?
Yes.
What if Ryan Pace instead of Trubisky drafts Patrick Mahomes? Then what are we talking about here, right?
Well, he's also not sitting behind Andy Reid for a year, but
I still think Pat's a beast.
Patrick
but
Mahomes would still be.
He has
great.
a ton of turnovers.
He would still be.
He's
Great. Or
a ton of
Deshaun
turnovers.
Watson. Pick your poison.
Yeah.
Like
I think there's a difference between that and Roger Stafford because Stafford's still obviously ultra talented.
yeah.
I mean, but why though? It's complete. Like it's like best case, worst case. Best case,
yes,
Rodgers
but
goes
you're
to
putting
Packers,
Trubisky, who's obviously not a very good quarterback, compared to Matthew Stafford, who's one of the most talented quarterbacks arguably ever. There's a difference in that.
Well, okay,
especially arm talent.
When you present it that way, yes. But I'm saying like if they draft Trubisky or Mahomes, it's as simple as if this pick happens instead of this pick, right? It's a one thing transaction. If this one move happens, which we can make arguments about that for like so many fucking things. But I'm just saying, like, if that happens, like, what's the state of the Bears right now? And that's why, like, when I bring the argument to where, like, I don't have a huge problem with the Uberflus or however the fuck you say his name, because I like Mike McDaniel, but he hasn't proven anything. Uberflus has been one of the top defensive minds in the league.
He was Shanahan's right-hand man and his play caller.
And I don't. No, he was, and that's a good family tree. You know, they had him, McVay, LaFleur, all those guys. Like. But I don't think that the head coaching thing is the big reason behind it.
I just think
it's
there's
personnel.
a trend.
It's personnel.
I agree, but they didn't do a good job with personnel. But there's a trend with young quarterbacks. It's like Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence. It's Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers. It's like if you want your quarterback to succeed, if you typically go get the offensive coach.
And I agree.
And that's
like
the trend.
Said, I agree with that, but I wouldn't put the big blame on that.
I'm not, but I'm just saying that could have been done differently, and you also could have done something to help him weapon-wise.
Now, what if they picked Eberflus because he thought maybe he was the guy to build the culture, and then they hired Luke Getsy, who was the Packers quarterback coach the last few years? What if they just wanted to get a guy like that who could – so they also have a guy who can build the culture for a losing team. It's been a losing franchise, and also get an offensive guy who can maybe still speak to Fields in a way that progresses
that could work.
It's not a bad move.
But that doesn't work out that much. The only time it's worked out is with the Bills with Sean McDermott and Dave.
Let me say this. So they signed Uberless to be their head coach, right? Let's say they signed
Uberflus.
I think you said his name 4 different ways.
Whatever, right? Right. Let's say instead they signed Mike McDaniel, the guy who went to the Dolphins, right?
Yes.
With the personnel on that team, what's the difference? They're going 5-11 versus 6-10 for the next 2 to 3 years. Either guy's probably going to get fired in 3 to 4 years.
But the thing is,
I don't think it matters. I
think it matters because you build an offensive connection.
But it doesn't matter when you don't have personnel.
Your head coach. Okay,
I think now you're trying to build a culture.
I understand that,
but how are you going to build a culture?
Trying to do that too.
But
they have a team
even with the
them.
Dolphins, though, man, like
terrible offensive.
Even with Mike McDaniel for the Dolphins, though, right? Like Shanahan's scheme is all run heavy. We're going to run the ball down your throat. The Dolphins, according to Pro Football Focus, had the worst offensive line in the league last year. I don't know how McDaniel's going to do what he's going to do. But they're not going to run the ball like the Niners are. And if if you can't run the ball successfully in that scheme, we haven't even seen what happens next. And who knows, but it's probably not good.
But what I'm saying is the current trend of what you do with a young it's what the Browns did with Baker.
It's the trend. But why do we have to
Baker
go by,
did great.
Why do we have to go by trends though?
Because it's shown what's worked. It's what's worked throughout the last 5 years.
I think
every young quarterback that's really good, other than Josh Allen, has an offensive guy. Justin Herbert was good before Staley got there.
When we compare him that way, though, right, it's like, yes, all of these teams with good young quarterbacks hire young head coaches. Outside, Josh Allen
offensive head coaches.
Offensive, yes. McDermott's the only defensive. But what other elite quarterbacks even have defensive head coaches? And we saw Brian Daboll from Buffalo, who's now the next sought-after big-time coach. So how much value is there really in that? I mean, outside of Josh Allen, what other young ascending quarterback has a defensive-minded head coach? They're all offensive.
None. That's the point.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, that we have nothing to go off of besides of the Bills with McDermott. So I don't think you can negate that.
I mean, I'm just
Mac
saying
Jones.
When a lot of smart people, when a lot of smart people who know what they're doing, who have been in the league for a while, are all doing the same thing. I go against the trend with Uberflus, but like that's what's worked.
And who
so
said
far.
who said they could even get McDaniel?
They could have gotten Dable. I'm just saying.
Who said they could have gotten Dable?
I don't know if they could have or not.
Miami and New York. I think they're ahead of Chicago.
I mean, Chicago's a bigger brand. Maybe the Giants are a bigger brand.
If I'm a
than the
head
Bears,
coach,
but
Mike McDaniel's like 30. He's a young head coach going to Miami with a. If I'm him, I'm wanting to go to Miami or New York.
The Bears were the two guys that were looking at Kellen Moore and Uberflus.
I would rather have Uberflus than Kellen Moore. I don't think Kellen Moore is that great of a.
I don't think he's a great coach either. I'm just saying the trend to do with it's what everyone is doing now. Granted. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work out.
Trends are meant.
You're right.
Yeah.
But it's worked. And it's worked a lot. And it's what the Jags did with Trevor Lawrence. Like, it's what the Browns did.
Work.
We don't, but it's worked in the past. And it's worked a lot in the past.
And
it's what happened with Zach
Taylor.
Taylor.
With you, if you have the personnel, yes, go get that offensive-minded head coach. But the Bears, on offense or defense, do they have better personnel?
Definitely defense.
Probably
definitely defense.
So they're equipping.
Not that great, but
they're
definitely
equipping
better
their better side of the ball. On offense, it doesn't matter. You could put
the Broncos did that with Vic Fangio. How'd that work?
They had a great defense still. Their offense was not good, but they had a good defense. You could put Sean McVay.
No, they still sucked, and Drew Lock was terrible.
Because Drew Lock, that's what I'm saying. That's my whole argument is personnel. You could put Sean McVay on the Bears right now as their head coach, and their offense is going to be a bottom 12 in the league. I don't care how genius he is. That team, that offense personnel is dog shit. One of the worst lines.
Matt Nagy was a really good offensive coordinator for a year, and he made the Bears a good offense.
I thought we were just hating on Matt Nagy.
Well, he had a really bad season this season, but I'm saying at your first year up, you can run if Sean McVay, if Sean
and get by,
yes, and then you get more personnel through the years.
Yeah.
Which is what you could do, I think, if you had a Sean McVay or a Brian Daboll or a McDaniel.
I also think the Bears did hire a new GM, and I think they also know they have time. Like, since they have new GM, new coach. I also think if they would have hired McDaniel, something like that, I think everyone would have expected the Bears to start their offense to start looking a lot better right out the gate.
There'd be more pressure on Justin Fields than there already is.
Yeah, and I think, like I said,
there's already a ton. Justin Fields had a terrible first year. If Justin Fields has another terrible year, the Bears are going to move off him. Unless they have no
Ohio
option.
State quarterbacks in the NFL.
I mean, that's the way it's looked for the past couple of years. Everyone wants immediate success, or else they move off you. So he has to definitely take some sort of step in the right direction. I mean, I don't know much about this Luke Getsy guy, but
then
if he speaks to Fields and Fields likes him, then and Eberflus ends up turning that culture and the guys listen to him as a team.
Yeah, it could work. I'm just saying the normal thing to do, what people have done, which is shown has worked in the past, is not what they did. And that I'm not even saying that's a big thing. I'm saying that coupled with this current situation and what they did in the free agency and draft, where they lost Allen Robinson and did nothing to replace them.
I don't think Robinson would go back there, even if they tagged him the year before.
Even if Fields was decent, I don't think he's going back.
Robinson was gone. I don't think
you could tag him.
They tagged him last year. He would have sat
out. Would you tag him? I mean,
he would. They tagged him.
They tagged him.
Trade
him.
They
tagged him
the year prior. Robinson was not going back.
They didn't do anything to help his coaching or help his weapons. That's what I'm saying.
Hey boys, by the way, I got to take a piss real quick. So
go piss.
Go get him.
I'm gonna go piss. Yeah, y'all.
Well, I can't believe we started going to the Bears that long. Wow.
Take boys first.
All right, that was some riveting Bears talk we just had.
Big Cat's loving us right now.
The Bears.
All right, so we're gonna move into a segment. We're gonna move into a segment that we're calling "New Faces, New Places." We're gonna go talk about a lot of different players and some coaches who are in a different place now. So we're gonna start with Deshaun Watson. If he plays, where do him and the Browns go?
I think they go pretty far because that Browns team is pretty talented, and I think what big thing's been holding them back. It hasn't really been the defense. It hasn't been the offense. It's been Baker and his progression. And I mean, if a healthy Deshaun Watson, agree or disagree, I think a healthy Deshaun Watson is in that conversation as a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. even on the Texans, you put him on any good team, he has the talent and skills. He's not a Lamar in terms of he runs as much, but he can do similar things that Lamar does, making people miss, getting out of the pocket, throwing on the run. But he's dynamic. So I think with that offense and what they already have there and understanding what they were giving up to get him, even with that suspension, it's going to suck. But, I mean, once he's back, I think they're going to be very happy that they got him.
$230 million guaranteed.
I totally agree. Like, we see all this shit with Deshaun and all of his
talent-wise,
cases,
I mean, you
or whatever.
can't deny
but
it.
I feel like people have like kind of forgotten how good he is, and they've gotten lost in all of his legal shit. I mean, in his last healthy season, he threw for almost 5,000 yards and 33 touchdowns, right? Like Deshaun Watson, like let's not forget Deshaun Watson
he's one of the most talented quarterbacks.
He was in the
league.
Same conversation as Mahomes and Allen. And I think the biggest thing too is like with the Texans, like the Texans defense was pretty good early on. Later on, the whole team was shit. But Deshaun Watson, he's a guy bootlegs out of the pocket running. Like Deshaun Watson has never even had an O-line close to this Browns O-line. Even for that matter, a running game or running back caliber of Nick Chubb and
just
Kareem
a team
Hunt.
in general. A team
like,
in general.
If Deshaun can play, especially come playoff time, like I'm excited as hell to see what he can do with that O-line and with Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Forget who's at receiver. Yes, they have Amari, Peoples-Jones. They drafted David Bell, who I think is going to be pretty good. But with that offensive line, he has never had an offensive line close to that caliber and a running game. Like we haven't even seen Deshaun yet with a running game, and I think he won't have what he can do.
He won't have a DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, like not that talented. I mean, Amari Cooper's pretty damn good in my opinion. He's not Amari. He's not D-Hop tier, but I mean, you put that with, and even the times D-Hop wasn't playing too, Deshaun Watson was doing pretty damn well, doing a lot better than I think a lot of teams would, or a lot of quarterbacks would, with much less. And he was working with much less, except for probably his second year in the league after the ACL tear. Ever since that second year in the league, that's when the Texans really started going downhill, and he was just carrying everyone. And even that year, we won 4 games when he played for us, for the Texans, me speaking to us as a Texans fan. When he played those games for us, we were in a lot of those games, even though we had a horrible record. They were all close games. There really weren't any blowout losses, maybe 1 or 2 on the schedule to obviously superior teams. But, I mean, they held their own and were in the fights, and that's all because of Deshaun Watson. So you put that –
because of him.
And you put that with what's on the Browns and what they have going on, just talent-wise, everywhere, it's better than the Texans, in my opinion. So, I mean, I think the sky's the limits for the Browns if Deshaun Watson's able to play, depending on how serious his suspension is, because it could be the worst one yet. So who knows in terms of like sexual allegation-wise. So he really could get screwed, but at the same time, the Browns might able to only, say, lose him for a year, only half a year, maybe not even a full season. And so with that, if they even get partial Deshaun Watson for a season, they're already a top-tier team, in my opinion.
That'd be a scary team to play in the playoffs.
Oh, that'd be terrifying.
Think if they start like 3-5,
and
Watson comes back, they got like a few weeks to kind of like get meshed.
Feet under them.
Like week 12, they just start firing on all cylinders, and they roll into the playoffs like 5-1, 6-0. They're 11 or 10-7 as a wild card, 11-6, maybe win the division.
They just finish hot.
That would be probably the last team I'd want to play a wild card with.
Oh yeah,
that would be easily terrifying.
Because we haven't seen like you said, like Deshaun had D-Hop, in his Houston days, one of the goats at receiver, D-Hop.
Yeah, especially talent wise, and
talent wise, one of those
decades.
Yeah.
Maybe you make an argument of all time, the argument. But like
might be the best toe tapper I've seen on the sidelines.
The best running game Deshaun has had was when Carlos Hyde ran for like 1,100 yards, like 2 or 3
years
ago.
And
that's Carlos fucking Hyde. Like we really haven't seen what Deshaun can do with a real running game, with real pieces around him, and a real coach. Like
this is best play caller.
Brian Buckchin.
Kevin Stefanski won Coach of the Year. Like Kevin Stefanski, like people can say what they want. He's a great coach. Like
he got the Browns.
I think
playoff
anyone
win.
that says that like the Browns can't win the Super Bowl without Deshaun at the helm is
they
just
underrate
talking out of their
Deshaun.
ass. Like
they just
like
don't know how good Deshaun is.
I totally agree. Like sky's the absolute limit if Deshaun Watson's playing and is healthy and they're firing.
The only thing about Watson is like he's better off script. He's better rolling out of the pocket. I want to see what that looks like on a textbook cold cut team like the Browns. That it's like every play we're going to run is going to be effective. We need you to sit in the pocket and make throws all over the field.
I think he can do that.
I think he can do it, but I think it's going to be very different from the style of play he's used to, which is go make a play, where it's like, we don't need you to go be Superman all game, which is what you're used to doing.
Exactly.
We'll take care of most of it. I want to see how he reacts to that because
I love that.
I don't think he's used to that. So I want to see how he takes that in, if obviously he plays, and how he responds to it, and if he tries to do hero ball too much or whatever. If he buys into it and he is just like, okay, on 2nd and long, 3rd downs, I'm gonna go be me and I'm gonna go ball out and torch people. Absolutely, sky's the limit. They could win the Super Bowl.
Now, is there
talent's out the ass?
Is there a chance, real quick? I just want to ask: is all these allegations, all this crap off the field? He hasn't been on the field in a year. I mean, they were showing clips of him, throwing picks and practice with shorts on, whatever. Is there a chance that this has maybe fucked with his head mentally, and maybe he
to
might?
some degree, has to be.
I think
absolutely has to be to some degree.
Maybe yes, to some degree, but I think when it's all said and done, like this guy's he went to Clemson, won a natty. I think when he's on I feel like with these guys that are like this high level, like when you're on the field, all the noise is blocked out, like when you are in the zone. But that I agree with that. That's a really good point, though, that like Deshaun hasn't, had a good system,
good team
where
around
it's like,
him.
all right, Deshaun, take a step back. Like, we got you. We can help you out. That's a good point. So it is interesting to see like how he will do, because that's most of his stats and good plays come off script behind by a few touchdowns.
Right.
So like that is interesting. But then again, like most guys, like that's gonna benefit them.
Of course.
With that.
Yeah.
I think he's also
but that I do like that. That's a good point though to bring up.
I love that. I love that take, Luke. As a Texans fan, I couldn't agree with that anymore, because I wish the whole time I was a Texans fan, I wish we had more for him, and it just sucked to see him do the crazy shit he did with so less. And even if he gets good and has to adjust to the fact he doesn't have to do everything or carry the whole team every time, the ability he has to do those type of things when he needs to go carry mode and things like that, a contending team. I mean, he put the Texans in games. I mean, I'm positive he's going to put the Browns ahead and winning games in situations like that. Not just putting them in it, but winning those games. Because he's that good.
Yeah,
he can make an argument.
They can get ahead, then just pound and ground, Chubb, Hunt.
It's just going to be make sure keep your ego in check. If we're up by 10 in the 3rd quarter on 2nd and 7, don't roll out and risk a fumble or a pick.
Don't go for the
That's the
throw
only thing.
fucking across your body.
And I mean, he's probably still going to be great. I mean, we've seen it with Mahomes. He plays like Mahomes, and Mahomes has adapted to his system.
Even with Mahomes,
to be as good as Mahomes
like early on, Mahomes was like, I got to hear a ball.
He did that this year. He did that this season.
But it's like
in a big way.
The second half of the season, though, we saw them kind of settle in, right?
Yeah.
And Reed was like, okay, we're going to dump it off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We're going to run the ball a little bit more. Like Patrick, like you don't have to do everything. Like take a step back, and then that's when like you maximize the team's full talent and potential. And so I think that I do agree there may be a slight learning curve in that for Deshaun.
That's why I say like the first 4 or 5 games, it's going to take a little bit.
It's a new system, it's a new team. Like you haven't had this personnel. So but I think once comes playoff time, he'll probably be adjusted. It'll all be in sync, and that'll.
Last team, if you got to play them in the wild card, you want to play in the playoffs.
Good luck.
You have Deshaun Watson at quarterback, and that running game. Get out.
Before the 4th quarter of Deshaun's last playoff game with the Texans against the Patriots, before the 4th quarter, that was literally a touchdown game the entire way, and that was against Brady. Now, we lost it in the 4th, obviously, but with what he can do in his comeback situations, and we've seen it even in college, he was able to do these comeback situations and when he needs to, carry the team on his back. I am so sold on the Browns, because I think he's a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. And so with that, I mean, he's the best quarterback in that division if he's playing. So I mean, the sky's the limit for them.
All right, so let's move on.
I think Joe Burrow might have something to say.
I think too.
I
think the Browns overall have the best complete roster in that division as well.
Yeah, offense and defense. Yeah,
offense well-rounded, very well-rounded. I agree.
Well, let's move on to another new AFC quarterback, and that's Russell Wilson. And where is he going to take the Broncos?
2 big boys out of the way.
Yeah, get the 2 big dogs.
I think it's another like situation to where like the sky's the limit again, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, like I feel like the biggest concern with is obviously got to learn a new playbook, a new team. He's been with Seattle his whole career, but it's like the run game ain't going nowhere. It's only getting better, if anything. weapons ain't going nowhere. You have Jerry Jeudy, who
good young.
I don't even think we've really seen Jerry Jeudy yet.
No. He hasn't broken
out. Coming out of college, like remember it was Jeudy, it was CeeDee Lamb, and
Henry
Ruggs, right? Jeudy was picked before all those guys, and if Ruggs still played,
no, Ruggs was picked before them.
Oh yeah,
but the Raiders got shit on because everyone was like, Judy's the best receiver in this class,
and there's still Courtland Sutton too, right?
And
I think Jeudy with Sutton, that's a hell of a dynamic.
Albert,
you want to get that quick in and out, and then the red zone threat.
I don't know what his name is.
Sorry,
and
Albert.
then the running game, I believe, like I said earlier, like I think Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. Obviously, there's an argument, but I think that could be the best running back duo in the league.
Javonte Williams,
right? Like
he is a top 5.
I think
he's a good back, great back,
hell of a running
back.
And like Russ is itching to get back, and like what it's going to come down to is like the division, obviously. Like, that division's going to beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah. Well, if that defense stays as good as they've been the last couple of years, and Russ plays well, I mean, or is healthy too. I mean,
yeah, and like I think if Randy Gregory plays a full slate of a season. Like that's going to do wonders for them.
Very talented player.
Mahomes and Herbert and Carr, like that, and like that's in that division. Like every team recognized it, right? Raiders got Chandler Jones, Broncos got Gregory, fucking Chargers got Khalil Mack. They're like, okay, if we're gonna fight in this division and have a chance to come out on top, we got
to like an arms race.
And guess who has the worst
QB?
The worst pass rushing duo of that group is the Chiefs.
The Chiefs by far.
Yeah, I know. And
they got George Karlaftis now.
You don't want you don't want to go against Mahomes and the Chiefs, but in all honesty, like you could make an argument the Chiefs might be the least talented team in that division this season.
Just about to say that. You could look at roster by roster.
Wise,
like
Patrick Mahomes is just what elevates.
Yeah,
like it's position by position.
The Chiefs aren't the worst team in that division, just off looking at the roster paper on paper.
Yeah.
Now they have Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Well, how
do
you think
Kelce,
Juju's gonna fare?
I think he's
gonna be a good player.
I love
it. That's a fantasy guy right there.
I don't even want to.
Him and Jackson Mahomes making some sick TikToks.
Oh yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Have they actually been going on TikTok recently?
We've heard it.
I'm assuming they will.
They probably will.
Old Dan Orlovsky says in the Gotta Have It plays talks about on NFL Live all the time. The only guy that you have right now in a Gotta Have It situation for sure is Travis Kelce. But if you add Juju into that equation with the Travis Kelce, because we saw what Juju can do when he had an above-average Ben Roethlisberger, he was actually a very
two option.
Okay, dude, and he's the number 2. So I mean,
also too,
if he's your second gotta have it guy, that's probably one of the better second have it guys. Maybe not in that division, but in the league, because that division is loaded. But in the league itself, like I would trust Juju in a gotta have it situation over a lot of receivers. And he's on a 1-year deal to try and prove it because he wants that bag. He thought he should have gotten a bag.
He's gonna get it because of all
this year. Well, dude, also too, like with the Chiefs, like like the O line's coming around second year. They got Orlando Brown, they got Creed Humphrey, all meshing together. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire could become one of the best running backs in the NFL.
What? I don't know.
Sit down. No, get the fuck out of here.
I don't know.
He's trash. No. I'm kidding.
He could have a good fantasy season.
I
could get on board with that.
I'm totally playing. I think he's garbage.
I think he's terrible.
I'm totally playing.
Yeah.
Jokes.
All right, so sky's the limit for the Broncos with Russ.
Yep.
That we feel.
I think they're right with the Browns, kind of right. Like sky's the limit. Yeah.
My only thing with them is literally just that division beating up on each other. So it's like I don't know how that's going to turn out between everyone they play. Because
even the fucking AFC North is so.
If you go 500 against everyone in your division. It's tough. If you go 500 against everyone in that division, you're probably going to be a playoff team. But if you get swept by any of those teams in the division, it's going to hurt you because they're going to have the edge on you in conference play too. So I mean, so it's just one of those things.
Probably going to be a couple tiebreakers in that division. Yeah. So
I think there really is going to be one between either the Chargers and Raiders or the Raiders and Broncos. That's really my two front runners. Is there a bet you could
make on tiebreakers?
I fucking wish.
In terms of what?
No.
Like by team, maybe like over a half.
I feel like it would have to do with you have to pick the teams in the tiebreaker. Okay, I feel like that's the big key with that.
All right, moving off the two big quarterback moves, let's talk about skill guy. Tyreek Hill traded from the Chiefs to the Miami Dolphins. What does he do for the Dolphins? What more does he open up for Tua and the boys down in Miami?
I mean, he's obviously gonna help, right? But like, again,
wait,
is.
Wait, hang on. Talk.
His headphones die.
Can't hear him.
Yeah.
Did your headphones die?
No.
Okay, we're back.
We're back. Never mind.
You know?
Yep.
You hear me now?
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. Sorry. I'll go first on this one. Just I really like it because I think with that offense, you do have the element, and obviously we've seen what teams. I mean, we saw with the 49ers in the screen game and how effective that was. I think the Dolphins are probably going to lead the league in screens this year with Waddle, Hill,
No doubt.
And Raheem Mostert
And a shitty offensive line.
Mike McDaniel calling plays.
Yeah, and a shitty O-line. I think they're going to lead the league in screens. So there is the appeal if he's going to make big plays after the catch. But the big thing, and everyone knows this, it's Tua going to be able to get it to him down the field. He's always been trying to defend him, and because it's his quarterback, and you don't want to talk bad about your quarterback. But I mean,
he says some outlandish shit so far.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I think all the shit he was saying put more pressure on Tua. So in reality, it's just one of those things where I think it could work out. But if he can't get the deep ball to those two guys, you can't run screens every play. You really can't. And they have a horrible O-line. They added Chase Edmonds. They added Mostert. They have Gaskin. I mean, they have a little workhorse load in the backfield right now. But at the same time, you can't fucking block for those guys either. So, I mean, until we really see what Tua can do, and if that O-line's got to improve too. That's really – because if Hill doesn't have time to get downfield, it's worthless. So
yeah, no, I think this is going to be – like we're going to see what Mike McDaniels can do.
We're going to see if he is really
we're
boy
gonna
genius.
See if he is boy genius or not, because if you were it's Shanahan's system, right? Like the last thing you would realistically need if you're going to run that Shanahan zone run scheme is another speedster receiver. Go get a couple good tight ends. Go get a tackle. Go get a slot receiver.
Or a physical possession receiver.
Yes,
yeah.
like especially when you have Waddle too, who's like pretty much plays almost the same way as Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
So like we're gonna see the creativity of Mike McDaniel, or we're not gonna see it.
And
it's gonna come down to him because we know Tua, one, he can't get the deep ball like a lot of these guys. He's accurate and all this stuff. That's not Tyreek Hill's game. Tyreek Hill can run the short routes. He can run the screen routes for catch. But like his game is stretching the field for a deep ball quarterback, which is why he was so good with Mahomes.
And I don't want.
That's not the situation here. So
I disagree with you on. We're gonna see if he's a boy genius or not, because yes, like Tyreek Hill, obviously he's gonna help the team. Like he fits with Tua well, like giving him screens, getting him quick slants, quick drags, whatever it may be. And he complements Waddle well. They are both quick hitters. They're both great receivers for Tua. But again, like it all boils down to a personnel standpoint. The Dolphins had the worst offensive line in the league last year. Yes, they did have Teron Armstead and Connor Williams. But if that offensive line can't hold up, it doesn't matter. Shanahan could come into this system for the Dolphins, and if they have one of the worst offensive lines in the league, he ain't going to fix it.
If they don't have a run game, they have nothing.
So I don't think it matters if what McDaniels does. I think it boils down.
It matters what McDaniels does.
It boils down to the offensive line.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
And with the trade-off,
can he pivot? Can he pivot from what he's used to?
But he has no option if the O-line doesn't work, because we know.
No, that's what I'm saying. Can he pivot off that original scheme?
I don't think he will, because we know what he's going to try to do.
No,
right?
but that's my point. Are we going to see how genius he is? Can he pivot off what he's used to and create something different for the personnel he has?
But then you're asking him to go into a territory that he hasn't been in, right?
That's why I'm saying we're going to see how smart he is.
I truly believe that Mike McDaniel will be fired in 2 to 3 years, and not because of his own fault, because of the personnel around him. Because in that kind of scheme, if you cannot run the ball, it does not matter. Nothing else will open up.
No, I know.
And I don't think they'll be able to run the ball, and I think Tua might beat his reception record that he's had with Mahomes. But his yardage is going to be down so much because he's not going to get that home run threats, because one, the line ain't going to hold up, and two, because like you said, Tua does not have a good arm at all. We all know that.
Expect a lot of touch passes from that
also
offense.
The Dolphins too. Yes, their offense may be a little bit better, but their defense is going to suffer. Their defense wasn't that talented last year, but that's because
still got Xavier though. Xavier's cold.
Their defense is.
It was talented. It wasn't one.
It's got bodies.
It was top 12.
It was
top
talent.
half in the league.
No,
it was Flores.
It was talented. It was talented. It was not one of the personnel-wise
not the
elite
best, no.
defenses that comes to your mind though.
And that was a lot of Flores too, being a defensive coach.
That's what I was getting to, right? Because
Brian
Flores has proven he knows how to run a defense, but they're wanting to get him that new innovative way, that new idea, that new trend, and get the offensive minded head coach. But I don't think it's going to work out because it boils down to Tua and the O-line.
No,
I think both of them are trash.
I'm in agreement with you. You're just saying you don't think Mike McDaniel can do it. I'm saying we're going to see if
I think he can do it. I just don't think he has the personnel.
No, that's what I'm saying. Okay. I said the same thing. It's like
I
don't
kind of talking in circles here.
I don't think that he can run the same style of offense he could run with the Niners. So that's why I'm saying but we're going to see how genius he is. We're going to see if he can adapt and pivot to use the personnel he has to their full capacity so they can maximize their potential. Let's see what he can do. And that's why I'm saying this is crucial for him.
No, and I agree with that. But I think as Miami, with their front office and their owner, I don't think they hire him coming in with the idea of let's see what he can run. I think that's why they got Teron. That's why they got Connor Williams, because they want to try to implement that run-heavy zone scheme.
But and those guys are both blindside blockers for Tua. That's the left side of the line right there. So I mean, or actually, he's a lefty.
Right side.
It's going to help pass protection for sure. I don't know how much it's going to open running lanes though. But that's the thing too. Is and this thing even too with Shanahan, right? Like Shanahan has always been blessed with a great O-line. So we haven't even seen Shanahan overcome that obstacle of having a shit O-line. So I don't know why Mike McDaniel could do it when he is a son of Shanahan.
Hey, you went to Yale. Smart kid.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But he has some pieces on the O-line.
I think he should be. I think he's set up for failure, though.
No, I know. I agree. That's why I'm saying we're going to see how smart he is. We're going to see if he's actually this genius play caller who can adapt an offense to his personnel. He doesn't have the personnel that he used to have, so he can't run the exact same scheme. But can he incorporate some of that scheme into some vertical, short passing, spread offense, or RPO, which Tua is really good at?
Touch passes, baby. Touch passes all day.
RPOs, can he incorporate and mesh these offensive schemes together to make this offense successful? That's what we're going to find out.
Yeah.
If you're right, if he completely sticks with this zone outside run scheme, it's probably going to fail. They don't have the personnel to do it.
I think in 2 to 3 years he'll be fired.
Okay. So you don't believe he'll do it?
No.
Okay.
Shanahan hasn't done it. Why could he do it?
Well, Shanahan hasn't had to do it.
Yeah.
It's not
exactly.
That's actually
why should I think he can do it?
I'm not saying he can. I'm saying we're gonna find out if he can.
We'll see.
I think he possibly could. I mean, he's a smart guy. He created a great team around Jimmy Garoppolo this season. I mean, he used Debo in a way Debo's never been used before. That shocked the league.
He didn't even call the plays for that team.
He did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He did not call the plays.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Mike McDaniel did not call the plays. Check your facts.
Shanahan called the plays.
Shanahan called the plays. McDaniel did not call the plays.
Yeah, he was the OC or assistant OC or something like that. But he didn't call the plays.
McDaniel was the sponge that was leeching off
throwing that lip, boy.
He did not call the plays.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's move on to our next guy. Another big AFC West edition, and that's Khalil Mack going to the Chargers, going on the other side of Joey Bosa. What does Khalil Mack do for that defense, that pass rush, and that team?
I think it's huge.
I'm not drinking.
Oh.
I'm just spitting.
I think it's sorry. I think it's huge.
Genius conversation.
In terms of the pass rush, because we've seen in Super Bowls, one of the most important things is being able to have a pass rush and getting to that Super Bowl caliber quarterback. That's always in. Rarely you see a quarterback that's not Super Bowl caliber. You've seen your Trent Dilfers, your Rex Grossmans, but Trent got lucky. He had the best defense in NFL history almost with the Ravens. And then Rex Grossman almost got there, but he also was carried by a great defense. So with that, I think they're going to be very great. However, I don't really think they address the needs of stopping the run and keeping Herbert off the field. So I think they're going to be a lot better in getting after the pass and stopping the deep passes and stopping the big plays. But I think that they didn't address enough of the needs in the run game and stopping the run, even though Mack and Bosa can do that. But that's off the edge. That's not the interior where most run plays are run through, especially in your first down situation. So to me, it really depends on if that run defense improves. And then if that improves, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa are going to have – I think they're both going to have 12-sack seasons at least this season if they're able to stop the run. But then if not, teams are going to key in all that. So it's really dependent on how – obviously, Khalil Mack's a huge upgrade, but a lot of that depends on who is also steps up on that defense because there are other questions not besides Joey Bosa and the pass rush. So there are other things on that defense they got to fix.
They had one of the worst run defenses in the league last year.
Exactly.
They got shredded by the run. But
if that's the case, I mean, Herbert's going to – if I'm an NFL – why would I want Justin Herbert on the field all day? Absolutely fucking not. So I'm keeping him off the field. Yeah.
The thing is with this division, right, like with the Chiefs –
Got to get to the
Clyde
quarterback.
Edwards ain't tearing
Got to get to the quarterback, yeah.
Mahomes is your priority. With the Chargers, I know Eckler's going to rush for a good amount of yards, but Herbert's your priority. With the Raiders, Josh Jacobs is a good running back, hasn't left to his draft billing, good running back, but you're stopping Carr. That's your priority, right? And Khalil Mack, you bring him in to stop the quarterback. You don't bring him in for the run. You bring him in for the pass. And I believe, too, like one thing you didn't mention is I think Khalil Mack, statistically wise, could break his own record of 15 sacks that he had.
He very could. Yeah, he could.
He has never had a dominant guy on the other side of the edge.
It's unprecedented.
His whole career,
Khalil
Mack's whole career, it's been, okay, double team Khalil Mack, triple team if you have to. He has never had a guy that's even been like a thought of a threat on the opposite side. Now you give Joey Bosa on the left side and he's on the right side.
At least 12 sacks.
I don't know who's better. I don't know who's better.
Joey Bosa.
And if you're an opposing team, it's like you double team one of them, fucking pick your poison, man. It doesn't matter because whichever one of those guys is getting single coverage is gonna get a lot of sacks.
Yeah.
And it's probably gonna mix and match by certain teams, or if a team has a great left tackle here, right tackle there, whatever. But I think statistically, Khalil Mack could have his best season. I think he's pissed after all this slander with the Bears and shit that people are kind of forgetting about him. And I think he had 6 sacks in 7 games last season. So we know he still has it in his tank.
Like,
He
absolutely.
is still
young enough.
He's 30. He's 30. But 6 sacks in 7 games. He is still an elite, a highly elite, top edge rusher. Like he's gonna be a fucking ultra
and that's the thing. Like you were talking about the whole defense, but it's like, if you have both edges of the pocket collapsing on pass plays, giving your corners, you only have to cover for 2 seconds.
Yeah, they got J.C. Jackson.
You're gonna have Pro Bowl corners. If you have collapsing edges like that, they're gonna get picks.
And they do have Pro Bowl.
They got J.C. Jackson.
Asante Samuel Jr. could very well be a Pro Bowl corner this next season.
And Derwin James.
Let's talk about Derwin James. Yeah.
So I mean, and like that's the thing with the scheme that Brandon Staley runs. J.C. Jackson's perfect for it. He can sit on these routes. He can, because he's like Trevon Diggs. He's a zone type of corner. He's going to sit on routes and try to get picks. With this pass rush, it complements it perfectly because you're going to be able to let this pass rush just control the game, destroy the quarterback, and make the quarterback throw throws he doesn't want to do early in his reads, and that's when these corners can go get the ball. So this really could be a game-changing
J.C. Jackson is an opportunistic cornerback.
He's Trevon Diggs. Yeah, he's the exact same style of player.
He's a slightly more honed in Trevon Diggs. He's better than Trevon Diggs.
I think he's better than Trevon Diggs, too. But this could be a game if Khalil Mack is as good as he used to be. Yeah. That's the question, I think. Like I don't know. We haven't seen it for 2 years now from him being that all-pro level rusher.
Last season, that's being on the Bears. He only played 7 games last season.
I just think if him
we'll see what injuries do to him, but if he can come back and be that type of guy,
if he's healthy,
this could be one of the best defenses in the league solely because of the pass rush. I don't even care. They got Kenneth Murray last year as a middle linebacker to clean up the run game too. He didn't help much as a rookie. Maybe his second
year. Like you mentioned, Derwin
James.
Yeah.
He is,
and that's why. That's why
with this defense, injuries is such a big thing. Like if this defense is healthy, like personnel wise, you honestly, I don't know if there's another defense in the league that you would take. Personnel, let's say your top 5, right? J.C. Jackson, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James, and then throw Asante Samuel Jr. at the 5th spot. If all those guys are healthy, playing to their potential, is there another top 5 personnel defense that you even take?
I mean, maybe the Rams, just because you got Ramsey, Donald, and Bobby Wagner.
But then who's the next 2?
I don't know. But I'm just saying, just those 3 alone.
Like,
Leonard Floyd?
Yeah.
And that's why I said I think.
And then you pair that with that offense the Chargers got.
Yeah.
Whew, on paper, the Chargers might be the team to beat.
They could easily.
But that's on paper.
If the Chargers go 13-4 this year, no one's going to be like,
not at all.
Yeah, they should. They're loaded.
Yeah.
If they don't win anything with this team, I mean,
they
don't get far.
At least
it's going to come down to Brandon Staley, honestly.
Yeah, and that's why I also mentioned
his aggressive personality, his aggressive demeanor kind of screwed him over.
Yeah, you need to take it back a little bit. Take it back.
I think he's he looks too big. He looks too much into analytics. Like he needs to just
and that's why I mentioned the fact that's why I mentioned the fact that I think Bosa and Mack are going to have over 12 sacks. So that's the case, they're going to be a very solid. If you have 2 pass rushers over 10 sacks, that's the best duo in the NFL right there. Because very few teams, right?
2018.
Like
and look how far that team went. So I mean, but that Jacksonville team, like I said, I think there's a lot that I think the Chargers are going to be great. But if the run defense doesn't improve, I think it will hinder them. But I think it will because they do have the pieces and the talent. I would throw Derwin James in the box a lot more often to stop the run because I wouldn't want to get fucking I wouldn't want to get hit by fucking Derwin James in the box either. So I mean, fuck. So I mean, you throw him in there, you throw Murray in there, he takes a jump. That's a scary fucking defense right there.
All right, well, let's stay out west and let's just do a 2-for-1 here. Okay. And the Raiders getting Davante Adams and hiring Josh McDaniel. What are those two going to do for the Raiders? I mean, can they go ahead and win this division? I mean, what do we think?
I really think they could, right?
Same. I think they could.
Like last year, Darren Waller statistically he didn't have a Darren Waller type of year.
Nope.
But, early on he was doing great, and teams started saying, we're going to double coverage Darren Waller. We'll let Hunter Renfrow beat us down low. We know Derek Carr isn't going to outshine us that much like a Mahomes. But I think Adams adds a whole new dimension to this team. Right, and
Adams is the best red zone threat receiver in the NFL.
I think you're adding the best receiver in the NFL to this team.
You are.
I think he's the best receiver.
He's the most complete
Renfrow
receiver.
And Waller.
He's the most complete receiver in this league.
Your red zone options are Tay or Waller. I mean, that's the best combo.
And what they do, they go. They had Waller and Renfrow last year. Yeah. They go from having to they have those two, and then you're mixing in Zay Jones and Bryan Edwards. Now you take those two and you swap them for a nice, shiny, perfect, pearly Davante Adams with Renfrow and Waller. That might be the best trio.
I
was just about to say,
tight end in the league.
If you could say who has the best quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end combination,
it's the Raiders.
Is there someone that's better than Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Davante Adams, and Darren Waller?
And Hunter Renfrow. Do not forget about Hunter.
No, and Renfrow. Yeah. And Renfrow. Yeah. But I'm just saying, at top position.
Don't forget.
Hey, I'm not going to forget your all-star in fantasy. Don't worry. I got you.
Week 1 waiver wire
I got
pick.
you. But if you were to say quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, that quadrant of players, is there a team that has a better 4-man unit than that? I don't know if there is.
Pretty solid.
Right up there. People are going to be like, well, Davante had Aaron Rodgers throwing to him, right?
Derek Carr and those boys.
Derek Carr's
a
good freaking quarterback.
Well, they played together.
Tay got drafted
because right?
Davante Adams got drafted because
Listen to this, though. Davante and Derek Carr played for 2 seasons at Fresno State. In those 2 seasons, Davante Adams had 233 receptions, 3,300 yards, and 38 touchdowns.
Holy!
So don't tell me that the dynamic ain't there. Aaron Rodgers got tunnel vision for sure, but Davante Adams is as good as they come. He is going to be a top 5 receiver of all
top
time.
3.
And that's the thing. You're adding that chemistry that Derek Carr and Davante Adams obviously have. They've been friends since their college days.
That's why Davante left.
Now, but think about the chemistry he also has with Renfrow and Waller. That chemistry is also great. Yeah. So it's not like you're dropping in a time bomb, which we don't know how this is going to work.
You're not dropping in TO.
You're not luck stopping that team on 3rd down.
Well, I think who this is going to benefit the most is Darren Waller. We've seen Darren Waller when he has single coverage.
Red zone Darren Waller's full effect this year.
This guy fucking eats, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the second half of last year, he didn't do that much because defenses were like, okay, our number one priority was a monster. To stop Darren Waller. And that's why Renfrow ate, because it was like, stop Waller. And Renfrow's still going to eat because they have Waller and Adams. Right. But fantasy-wise, get fucking Darren Waller if you can.
That team leads the NFL.
Let's not forget about Josh McDaniels coming
Absolutely
there, too.
Not.
This is Bill Belichick's golden child of offense.
His boy.
Josh McDaniels could get he could get a head coaching job probably the last 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Whenever he wanted, and he picked this job, he handpicked it. He could have handpicked any job he wanted for 5 years. He handpicked this job specifically because of the personnel they have and his belief in Derek Carr. Not only is the talent there, you now have the offensive mind there to utilize these pieces to maximize the potential. I think the Raiders could win the division. I don't think there's
so do I.
Especially on the back end with adding Chandler Jones and Max Crosby on that back end too. You have the pass rush, you have the complete offense. The division's going to be a bloodbath, so you don't know how that's going to go. But like on paper, this team is one of the best teams in the league offensively with your pass rush.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking at this team that you would hope they at least win a playoff game. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's so many teams in the AFC that it's like
hard. We have no idea what's going to happen.
Right.
We
There's
give our
so
guess
many
or
great
whatever.
Injuries are going to happen. Like, so much stuff's going to happen.
But like back on the McDaniels thing, it's like the only argument that people can make is like, oh well, we saw when he went to Denver, right? It was
He'd like to
disaster,
think he's learned.
Disaster. Well, yeah, like you said, he was 32 when he got hired at Denver. He was the youngest head coach at the time to ever get hired.
He went 6-2 in his first 8 games too.
Yeah. But the youngest
hell
head
of a
coach
collapse.
to ever get hired. Okay, 12 years later, okay, this guy has all of the intel, all of the knowledge that he needs. Like he is he is more equipped than any other assistant in the league to be a head coach right now.
Yeah.
And like he's inheriting a bunch of good talent. Like he should do great with this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Well, let's move to Indianapolis. They shipped Carson Wentz out of town, and they brought in a new veteran quarterback in Matt Ryan.
Love it.
Where does Matt Ryan take the Colts? Does he take them over the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think that's personally. I think the Titans lost a lot,
just
and
keep
then
going.
with that, I think the Titans lost a lot with that, and then with that in mind, like with what they've added and the additions they made with Matt Ryan. I mean, like I said earlier in the podcast, if you take Matt Ryan and put him on any contending team, they're probably a very serious contending team at the only position they have is a quarterback lacking. So I mean, I think he's a huge step above Matt Ryan. Huge step above Carson Wentz. And then with that in mind, I mean, if he's just being a game manager with Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman stepping up this season, I mean, and with the best O-line in the NFL, I mean, he has a chance to do exactly what he wants to do and just sit back in the pocket and manage the game. So he really has a chance to make maybe the biggest impact out of anybody on this list, possibly.
I mean, if their defense was as good as it was last year, and Matt Ryan doesn't turn the ball over like we assume he's not going to, this is going to be the best offensive line and the best running game he's probably maybe ever had besides that 1 year.
The Michael Turner years.
I think it's going to come down to how good is he still at his age and how good are the weapons, because I think that's the one thing on the Colts is like,
who are we talking about?
Matt Ryan. So you have Michael Pittman, who you have Jack Doyle, like. He's going to have to make these weapons better. Now, granted, the offensive line, the running game is going to give these weapons obviously a ton more to work with, but can these weapons deliver for Matt Ryan? If they can, I think this team easily wins the division. So now you're looking at them. I mean, with this division, they could win 12 games. So you're looking at them now maybe 2-3, maybe the 1 seed with how competitive the AFC is. I mean, I think these teams are going to beat up on each other.
Wild. It's not an outrageous take.
Like this team could end up close to the 1 seed if they were to get the bye. If the AFC has to go through Indianapolis, there's no reason this team hypothetically could not go to the Super Bowl.
Very true.
They've got a Super Bowl made quarterback. I mean, we've seen Matt Ryan take a team there before. They've got the running game, they've got the defense, and we know in the playoffs what carries you. It's your defense, your clock management, your coaching, which they have, and your running game.
Did they draft anybody on receiver wise?
Yeah, I was about to tell y'all. They really love that
guy
Austin
from Cincinnati.
Pierce. Yeah, they love Austin Pierce out of Cincinnati. He's like a 6'3" slot receiver, basically.
They got Wentz last year, right? And Wentz and Matt Ryan are the complete opposite.
Literally.
Wentz is going to
totally
the team on his back. He's going to try to make these crazy like fucking Patrick Mahomes play that the Colts.
Well, Matt Ryan has been like that before. He's a gun. Matt Ryan is a gun.
But it's when Matt Ryan has to play like that,
which he's always had to.
Which he, besides in those years with Shanahan and Devontae Freeman and Julio, prime in the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. But we've seen Matt Ryan whenever he's inherited a good system, a good O line, good skill position, MVP. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. MVP wins the Super Bowl. And last year, the Falcons were still in the wild card hunt for most of the year.
They were bad, but
But they went 7-10. Like for the last week or two, like they had a shot to make the playoffs. Which he had one of the worst O lines in the league. Russell Gage was his number one receiver for most of the year. Probably the shittiest defense in the league. Like literally, and people have been shitting on Matt Ryan for a while now, but like he literally had, I think, arguably the worst roster in the league last year, and he took them to almost the playoffs.
Yeah, like if Calvin Reed,
I'm hyped. I'm super.
I'm really happy.
Calvin Ridley.
I like this for the Colts and for Matt Ryan. They didn't even give it that much to get Matt Ryan. Like I could easily see them. I think that like you said, I think they should win the division. If everything if everything pans out,
nice.
If everything pans
Good
out
spit.
perfect for the Colts, and this is obviously glass half full, but like they could win the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan.
They could.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
could.
I mean,
Their O line's
is there a reason
bulldozing.
Jonathan
Taylor's
Taylor
the best running back in the
couldn't
league.
run for 2,000
Michael Pittman's
yards?
ascending. The defense
all.
is young and upcoming. Like, I think we all know that.
And another thing I love about that with the Jonathan Taylor and like that run game, the fact that he's going to have a Matt Ryan at quarterback, he's going to be fresher this year come playoff time too. So, I mean, he's not going to have to carry the world. I mean, he's going to be the workhorse, obviously, but he's going to be able to kind of sit back and relax some plays when last year he was really just kind of hoping for the best with Carson Wentz for the most part. So, I mean, there's a real chance that he's able to kind of he's going to have a great year still, but he might not just be like every single down, every single play and ready to go.
Just do Von Miller, Doug Peterson.
Huh? Do you want to do the receivers?
We already talked about AJ Brown. Let's just do Von Miller, Doug Peterson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do offense.
Huh? Do offense skip Von Miller?
That's fine.
So let's do Allen Robinson.
We
We
need
kind
to-
of already
yeah.
talked about AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And the Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Biggie.
No, it's all good.
We're gonna speed this thing up a little bit. Okay.
No worries.
Allen Robinson signed with the Rams to become their number 2 receiver behind Cooper Kupp. Well, how much does he help that offense and Stafford?
I think he keeps it afloat to what they were last season with Robert Woods and Odell.
Yeah.
I think obviously, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with Odell. He's still unsigned. I don't know if he's going back. You lose Robert Woods. He now comes in as the bona fide number 2, regardless of what happens with Odell. So I don't think he adds an element to their team from what they had, but I think he replaces what they lost. So I don't think you see a decrease, or I don't think you see an increase. I think it keeps them where they are, and where they were was winning a Super Bowl. So I think that keeps the offense right where it should be if the O-line holds up, obviously, for the Rams.
Now, when you say that, are you talking solely off receiver talent, or are you talking with the subtractions of the own lineman and then?
No, I'm talking strictly the subtractions off the receiving core and adding him. I don't think that the Rams have a decrease in talent and productivity.
I think he gives them. I think he adds receiver talent for him.
So let's say they don't.
I do too. Yeah.
Let's say they don't re-sign OBJ. Do you think his production will be better than Woods / Beckham?
Yeah.
I think it fits better for that team. I think it fits better because I think the Rams could really use a big physical, like possession receiver, and Allen Robinson can do that and do a little more after the catch. He's not your burner or anything, but at the same time, I would take Allen Robinson over Robert Woods in a pure talent pick any day. But at that same time, like he's going to be the number 2, and I think with that, he's going to have to adjust to being a number 2 and going to have to worry. But he came there for a reason because he wanted to win and get the fuck out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be games.
I totally agree with you, Big E. Like they got Robinson for 3 years, $46 million, which makes him the 22nd highest paid receiver in the league.
He got Kupp all day.
Is he? Do we really think that he is the 22nd best receiver in the league?
He's definitely more talented than that.
Yeah,
he is.
I think he's top 15 in talent for sure.
Last year he had a bad year, but he was on one of the most dysfunctional Bears team we've seen. He had Andy Dalton, he had Nick Foles, he had Justin Fields thrown to him. 2 years ago with Trubisky and Nick Foles, he put up 1,300 yards.
I mean,
and Allen Robinson has. No, I'm not going to say arguably. Allen Robinson has put up the best body of work out of any receiver we've ever seen with the least talent at quarterback ever.
A-Rob in Jacksonville was fucking nasty.
Nick Foles and Blake Bortles throwing the ball. And he's put
I'm
up,
about to say D-Hop's up there too.
And he has put up multiple all-pro seasons. Mm-hmm. Like, we have never seen Allen Robinson with even a decently talented quarterback.
Yep. No.
We haven't.
No.
Or
a good
coach. I think that's –
and
he's going to make him even better.
And Cooper Kupp is going to get shadowed all day. Cooper Kupp's going to get all the attention. A-Rob's going to have one-on-one matchups all day long.
Oh, there's going to be games where A-Rob pops off and has
A-Rob is going to eat. I think they got him for his steal at his contract.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And he wanted to get the fuck out of Chicago too. So the fact that that's on the back burner, he's like, oh, this is so. He has in Chicago. He was not like I'm not. They all NFL athletes work hard, but you can make an argument in Chicago. Allen Robinson did not want to work as hard because there was no fucking point because he knew his ass was out of there.
All in vain. Yeah, it was like
yeah, it was like
what do I have to work for?
He was ready to get out of there. He was ready to get out of there.
I risked my body.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, let's move on to one of the head coaching hires. And after Urban Meyer had his fun in Jacksonville, they decided to go.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He had a
Finger
good
banging,
time.
baby. They decided to go ahead and hire Doug Peterson, former Super Bowl winning coach, to pair him with Trevor Lawrence and help his progression. What do we think about that?
Love it. I think that was one of the most underrated best hires of the entire offseason. I think we saw what he did with Wentz when he was young. We saw Wentz as a rookie progress. He was good. We saw him take Wentz to new heights before all the injuries and the mental shit started affecting Wentz. Wentz was like shoe-in MVP before
MVP till he got hurt.
We saw what he did with Foles. This guy, one, knows how to coach a quarterback, develop a quarterback. Two, he knows how to lead a team and lead a team far in the playoffs like he did. I think this is a bona fide surefire move for the Giants.
I mean,
I think it was one of the best hires you could have made.
I think it's the best hire they could have made after Urban Meyer, especially.
Well, it could have been horrible. After Urban too. It's like we need to go with a safe hire,
a stable
guy, a grown up at head coach,
and a good offensive guy to pair with.
He's been there. He's won a championship with Nick Foles at quarterback, and like after the Jags had their dumpster fire signing of Urban Meyer, so okay, get a guy. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get an old, reliable Doug Peterson who's just sitting there waiting for you to grab him. He's going to help develop Trevor Lawrence. He helped develop Wentz, even though Wentz didn't turn out. But when Wentz was with him, he was a good quarterback. Right? And he's won a championship. There's not a lot of coaches that are on the open market that say have won a championship.
With Nick Foles, nonetheless.
Especially in the short time that Peterson's even been a head coach for. I love it. I wouldn't do anything different if I was them. I think
that man coached up a team to beat Tom Brady and Bill Belichick when he had Nick fucking Foles at quarterback. I am all in on the Trevor Lawrence and the Jags development for him because I think Trevor Lawrence is much more talented than Carson Wentz ever fucking was in terms of coming out. I mean, Trevor Lawrence was as good a quarterback
MVP
prospect.
Year that Wentz was on his way to.
Carson Wentz was
so good.
No, I'm not saying the MVP. I'm saying coming out of the draft and building a quarterback. If you were to build a team around someone,
Trevor Lawrence is like a quarterback you built in prospects that we've
exactly. Seen. That's and the fact that he was able to get this output and get an MVP caliber season out of a guy from South Dakota State, which is a powerhouse in the FCS. But the fact that he got this guy made him a fucking beast. I think he's going to make Trevor Lawrence quite a fucking beast too, because he is, other than Andrew Luck and maybe some other quarterbacks, he is easily one of the most talented quarterbacks coming out of the NFL draft ever.
He's one of those few blue chip guys that came out in the draft. Those Lucks, Peyton Mannings,
they're like this is a surefire.
This is the guy.
And even and the people
just take him and move on.
He's got everything you need.
And I think
too, people that hate it.
It may be. It's not going to happen overnight. It's probably going to take a few years. So if you're a Jacksonville fan, you probably should be a little patient on this one.
Especially
after don't expect playoffs this year, but second half of the season, expect
better have improved it.
Expect growth.
Yes,
expect
because
the team to be
the personnel obviously is still not there by any
something
means.
To build off of for the next season.
I love this for the big picture outlook for the team. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to another topic real quick. This one's going to be a quick one. We're just going to do some Madden ratings. The new Madden's coming out?
Right, get a little fun with it.
Middle of August.
I love fucking Madden.
All right, so I'm just gonna name some players. Y'all go ahead and guess what their ratings are gonna be. Yep. Y'all go ahead and guess what their ratings are, and we'll come back and look at this when the new Madden comes out. And after y'all say their ratings, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all what it was at the end of last year too, just for fun.
Are we gonna do what we think they should be at, or what we think Madden's gonna put them at?
What Madden's going to put them at.
Yeah, just what you think.
What Madden's going to put them at.
Okay, all right. First player, Von Miller.
I think they put him at 92.
I was going to say the same fucking shit. I would put him at 92 as well. Yeah, honestly.
90.
He finished at 93 at the end of last year. Amari Cooper.
90. I think Madden comes out with him at 90.
80. I'm taking the 87 because I think Madden's not gonna like him as much.
I feel like it'd be better if we say what we think they should be at.
That's fine. I don't care.
I'm down to do that.
Okay.
All right.
I think that'd be better.
That's fine.
I'm down to do that. Okay. So what I think Amari should be at?
Yeah. What do you think?
88.
I would take Amari at like 87.
Yeah.
88.
He finished last year at 92 overall.
What the fuck?
AJ Brown.
What he should be at. 87.
I'm gonna take AJ at 90 because I think all his physical tools in Madden would make his overall a little better than the other guys. So,
yeah, I'm gonna say 89.
AJ Brown finished at 87 at the end of last year. Dak Prescott.
Jeez.
72.
Wait, hang on. What he should? What he
72.
should?
What
Yeah.
you think he
What
should
you
be?
think
What
he
you
should
think?
I think he should be 87 overall.
I'm going to take him at 85, but he's got superstar development trait.
Yeah, I'm gonna take him at 85. I like 85.
He finished last year at 91 overall.
That is ridiculous. That is just retarded.
And this is coming from Cowboy fans.
Madden at it again. Chase Young.
what he should be at?
We did
What he should be.
way last year. So.
That's kind of tough, but
88.
I get. I'm taking.
I think
I'm
his
taking,
talent takes him to 88.
Yeah, I'm taking him at 90 because he was a fucking monster, and if he didn't get hurt, he would have probably been like a 94 overall by the end of the season.
I'm going high. I'm going 93.
Wow.
I like that because he's got all the
I don't
strength
have a
and
problem
speed.
with
So
that.
yeah,
I just think
yeah,
like I mean,
X factor.
his talent is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he has the body of work, but like I would put him at 88, 89.
well, I mean, even though he didn't play last year, but he was in 86 by the end of last year.
He's better than that.
Yeah, definitely.
He didn't even play to get an 86. So I like that.
Debo.
What he should be
Ooh.
at?
What he should be.
95.
Debo
I
should
think
be
Debo's a monster.
yeah. Debo should be a 92 because he's got all the catching, all the speed, all the trucking, all the strength. He got all that shit. 92.
97.
I'm more on that train.
I like that too, honestly.
95
Yeah.
plus.
I love Debo.
Debo is
I think Debo's
he's one of the
complete.
best off. He's one of the best players in the league.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I know.
I think
I'm
he's
aware.
arguably the best weapon in the league.
I know
Oh,
you're
Arguably
yeah.
aware.
best weapon.
Yeah, y'all know.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
The fact
you
that
know.
we've
I
seen
know you
him
know.
be
Yeah.
the running
Yeah.
back.
Hey, you want to trade
position,
Tyson
like,
Williams for him again?
Almost.
Debo finished last year at 88 overall, which
Oh,
I was
that's-
surprised to
that's-
see,
that
even
is
after what he did.
ridiculous.
That's mean.
All
They
right,
would have changed that
That's
shit.
rude. That's rude.
Trevon Diggs.
Oh, this is an interesting one. He's got superstar development, but I'll let Luke go first for sure.
He's having a tough one with this.
What he should be at?
What he should be. What you think he should be at.
89.
I like
Iggy.
it. I like it. I like it because of how the corners are ranked him out and about. I'm gonna go with 87 because I think he's gonna make up for like catching and like play recognition shit like that. But yeah, 87.
T-Bone.
I mean, if it's me, I like the 89.
He finished last year at 83 overall.
Okay, well that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think if you lead the league
That's-
in picks
yeah.
easily, you should be at least 88.
I mean, he had 11 picks. Like,
Yeah,
you
if you-
can't. He can't be that.
He can't be
low, like-
83.
Yeah,
with 11
no.
Picks. I don't.
He
care
needs
if
to be
you put up
close to
1,000
90.
yards. Like no.
Next up, Max Crosby.
Ooh, I like
88.
this one. I'm taking Crosby at a 90. Honestly, to be honest with you,
T-Bone.
Take him at a 91.
He finished last year at 88 overall.
hey,
Luke's got a couple right here. Kyle Pitts.
What he should be at?
What he should be.
Yeah,
85.
I'm going reliable 87 again. Yep.
I know they always rate tight ends high,
That's what you think he should be.
and I know that's what I'm saying. What I think he should be, I think he should be 85.
Finished last year at 86 overall. Jamar Chase.
Oh,
95. I think Jamar Chase is arguably the best receiver in the league.
Well, I like that rating.
yeah. I'm going 93, but he's got superstar X factor. So I mean, you play one season, he's a 99 with him in Madden. So
I'm gonna go 93 just because we've only seen 1 year.
Now, this kind of questions this website's credibility that was called MaddenRatings.com. They have him finishing at 84 overall last year.
Well, they can go shove one.
What
Yeah.
website are you on? Son?
MaddenRatings.com.
that's fucking horrible.
Saquon
Whatever,
Barkley.
Matt, ooh,
God.
We got
this is an iffy one. This is such an iffy
85
one.
or 95. I don't know. Oh God. I'm gonna split the difference. I'll go 90.
I'm gonna split it between 85 and 90. I'm gonna go 88. So
I'm gonna go 87.
Finished last year at 86. Jamal Adams.
84.
So overrated. Definitely like an 85, honestly. But he's got like 99 hit power. That's about it.
And 2 for him.
I'll go 86.
He finished last year at 90. He finished last year at 90 overall.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Micah Parsons.
Good. Ooh, I like this one too.
96. I think
I like that. I agree with that.
I think Micah Parsons is one of the best players in the league.
I don't think that's ridiculous.
I think Micah Parsons should be 96.
I agree with that. I don't think that's ridiculous.
I'm going 95. Not that far off of you, Luke. But yeah, I kind of agree with that. But
yeah.
He finished last year at 87 overall.
Well, he was a rookie.
Yeah, they do rookies dirty.
They do rookies.
That's like the best rookie I've seen.
I think he should be at least 95, 96.
All right. In the last one, Bobby Wagner. Kind of boring,
man.
90.
Big bet, Bobby.
I'm going 93. That's still one of the best linebackers in the NFL.
I like 90. Give me 90.
He finished last year at 91 overall. All right. Well, we'll revisit this when the new Madden comes out here in a couple weeks.
We shall see.
All right. Now we did a budget lineup. I'm just going to go ahead and read out the options and then
I got to go piss.
All right. So we've all been handed a budget lineup and we've all made our own lineup. Luke, go first. What is your budget lineup?
Okay, I got 2.
NFL budget
I got
lineup.
a fun one and then my normal one. So my normal one,
pick one.
My normal one is Mahomes for $5, Chase Edmonds for 1, Adam Thielen for 3, Tyreek Hill for 5, and Pat Muth for 1. Vermouth. Now, I do have a fun one, and this is just all physical. We're going to destroy you running the ball. Lamar Jackson for $4, Derrick Henry for $5, Jamison Crowder to give Lamar a nice little slot option, short yardage guy, DK, physical specimen at $4, and then Pat Muth at $1.
I like it. I like it. I actually like that. So I got Lamar Jackson at $4. At $3, I have Antonio Gibson. At $5, I have Devontae Adams. At $2, I have Cortland Sutton. And at $1, I have the Muth. The team's kind of loaded.
Muth is a fan favorite.
Yeah. For $1, I'll take Muth.
I'll take Muth.
Hell yeah. Give me fucking Muth.
Give me the fucking Muth.
All right, mine for $5 buckos, I got Patty Mahomes, best quarterback in the world. For $2, I got James Robinson. He's gonna run it up the gut. He's gonna catch passes. He's gonna pass block for me. At 2, I got Cortland Sutton, vertical threat, big red zone receiver. 1, Kadarius Toney. He's going to stretch the field. He's going to make some screens pop off. He's high upside guy. And then 5, give me Travis Kelce to pair with Patty Mahomes.
Beautiful. All right, quarterback got Mahomes for $5. Running back, give me James Robinson for $2. Receiver, give me AJ Brown for $4. And then give me Allen Robinson for $3. And then give me the Muth for $1.
Y'all love the Muth.
We love
Muth for $1. I mean, I'll take that any day of the week.
I wonder
Fucking
who we're
Muth.
going after in fantasy this year, taking Muth with
right.
our tight end
Now
pick.
let's relay them real quick.
Okay. Luke.
Patrick Mahomes for $5 a quarterback, Chase Edmonds for $1 at running back, Adam Thielen for $3 at receiver, Tyreek Hill $5 at receiver, Pat Muth for $1 at tight end. The fun one, running game, destroy. Lamar Jackson for $4, Derrick Henry $5, Jamison Crowder $1, DK Metcalf $4, and $1 Pat Muth. Go E.
I like it. I got Lamar $4, Antonio Gibson $3, versatility out of the backfield. I got the best receiver in the NFL, Devontae Adams, throwing it from Lamar. Then I got fucking Cortland Sutton, big body possession receiver, gonna fucking moss some motherfuckers. And I got the fucking Muth, just ready to run through anybody and fucking catch your ass deep in down the seam. Easy.
All right, my NFL budget lineup for $5, I got Patty Mahomes, best QB in the league. $2 at running back, James Robinson. He's going to pound the ground. He's going to catch passes. He's going to pass ball. He's going to do it all for my team. Wide receiver, $2, I got Cortland Sutton. Like you said, red zone threat, big body receiver. $1, Kadarius Toney. He's going to stretch the field. He's going to bubble screen. He's going to make it happen. $5, Travis Kelce, best tight end in the league, best tight end ever to pair with Pat.
I think.
All right, give Mahomes $5 a quarterback, probably best quarterback in the league. James Robinson, $2, ground and pound guy, going to catch passes, shifty guy. AJ Brown, $4, big yak guy, big rat guy.
Big yak guy.
Big yak and rack. Big yak and rack.
Give me Allen Robinson for $3, big body, physical, love that. And give me Fryer Muth for $1. He's fucking Muth.
So was because I just like made this out of my was Muth the best value on that whole board?
I think
Chase Edmonds was personally.
Yeah.
Edmonds. I just like James a little bit better because of the like goal line presence he can present.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we'll sign like a LeGarrette Blunt.
Oh, did y'all think this list was like good though?
I loved it.
I liked it. Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it too.
It's even.
Yeah, I tried to make it even.
All right. We got 14 and a half minutes for us to explain our top 5 alcoholic beverages of choice.
Oh,
Tebow,
shit.
kick us off.
Spit real quick.
All
right. Let me spit this shit.
Buzzsaw, you're up.
All right. Honorable mention, I got margarita. I love a good margarita. I think there's a time and a place for a margarita personally. So I don't have it in my top 5, but I do love a good margarita. At number 5, Red Bull vodka. Red Bull vodka is the perfect thing to keep you going. If you had a long day, you get a couple Red Bull vodkas in you, you're ready to rock for the rest of the night. That's number 5. Number 4, I got Coors Light / Miller Lite, a good light beer, not a Bud Light. Get Bud Light out of here. Bud Light sucks.
Fucking
Coors
water.
Light, Miller Lite. At number 4, a good light beer to drink whenever the hell you're doing. Number 3, good old whiskey Coke. I haven't actually been drinking whiskey Coke a lot recently.
That's good.
I like wine.
I can't.
I'm a wine guy. I like wine.
Leave my number 1 alone, bro. Fuck you. I can't. Old habits die hard. Whiskey Coke at number 3. Number 2, an IPA beer, specifically a hazy IPA. I'll never go wrong against the hazy IPA. Those are some of the best things in the world. And number 1, the elegant, what I drink every single podcast, red wine, specifically a cab. That's my top 5. Number 5, we got Red Bull vodka. Number 4, Coors / Miller. Number 3, whiskey Coke. Number 2, IPA, specifically hazy IPA. Number 1, red wine, specifically a cab.
Boom. I like it. I drink the shit out of that list.
Go get it, Biggie.
Started off, I got my dessert drink because no one's going to mention dessert drink properly. But this is maybe the best drink I ever had. If I ever had dessert for a drink, I would ask for this fucking drink every single fucking time. A Brandy Alexander. It's made with cream, cocoa, brandy, and ice cream.
Sounds like a porn star.
It sounds like
it's got dairy in it.
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like a allergic reaction. It does sound like a porn star. It actually does sound like, I've been watching Brandy Alexander.
Let me Brandy Alexander.
It's literally the best dessert
Stick your
drink
dick
I
in a
ever
Brandy
had.
Alexander.
Oh yeah, keep it tidy. Then next I have not just a whiskey Coke because I love a whiskey Coke. I had to specify it. I got a Jack and Coke because Jack and Cokes make the strongest whiskey Cokes for sure, especially if you do yourself some doubles or maybe even some triples and just a little dash of Coke.
Shout out Raider Bar.
Now, Biggie, answer this for me. How do you feel about a KD and Coke?
I have PTSD with that, so hey. I have a little PTSD, so I'm not a fan. But after I figured out it was vodka, it ruined it for me. So next,
game changer.
Because I'm a big beer guy, so you're gonna hear 2 beers in my top 3. I got Yuengling, number 3, the oldest fucking beer in fucking America. Are you shitting me? And it's the best one of the best ones to just drink. Fucking taking that at 3. Next, gonna piggyback off Luke a little bit. I got a margarita too. You give me 4 Jimmy's margaritas in Lubbock, Texas, I will not remember a fucking thing. So I'm taking a margarita over anything.
We'll be getting kicked out of a few places off those.
Yeah, if anything over 5, it's iffy range for sure on those fucking things. And then lastly, just gonna have to shout it out. Number 1, Coors fucking Light. Been drinking it all fucking night. Had 1 Yuengling Light, not the same as a Yuengling, so I had to go back to Coors.
Rep the mountains,
number
baby.
1. I rep my brand. I rep my shit. That's all it is. Coors Light, number 1.
Did y'all go 1 through 5 or 5 through 1?
5 through 1.
Okay. All right. My honorable mention, I'm gonna go with my guy White Claw here. I think truly, I think you get a nice can of White Claws. You know, you want watermelon, you want tangerine, you want a little tropical. You know, you get a White Claw on a nice summer day where the sun is just pounding. All right, you want a little pick me up. Maybe stay away from the carbs as well too. Watch the barrel a little bit. You go get yourself a White Claw pack, variety pack number 2 on a nice summer day. Can't go wrong with it. White Claw honorable mention. At number 5, I got a margarita. You give me a little Don Julio with a little bit of lime and whatever the fuck they mix it with. Any Mexican restaurant, chips and queso with a good old margarita, phenomenal. Number 4, I thought you were gonna have this in there, but I got a mimosa. A
nice
mimosa. I personally,
not a big mimosa
I love
guy.
mimosas. After a Saturday night when you get blackout drunk with your buddies, have a good time. All right, you go to brunch, you get some eggs and bacon, and then you get the fucking triple threat of coffee, water, and a mimosa. You're hydrated, you're energized, and you're drunk. You can't beat it, all right, with the triple threat of coffee, water, mimosa. Number 3, all reliable. Again, help out barrel season, red wine, like you said. I love a good red blend, whether it's Conundrum, Juggernaut, whatever it may be. I love a good red blend. Number 2, my top beer, Corona. Haven't had much recently because, like I said, I've been watching the barrel a little bit. There's about 15, 16 carbs per Corona. But you give me a nice Corona on a hot summer day, specifically on the beach. Find your beach with a juicy old lime in it. Love a Corona. And then number 1, my Mecca, Casamigos Reposado Tequila with Topo Chico and a lime, okay? With this, you're getting the best of all worlds. You're getting Casamigos Reposado, a good quality tequila. You don't have any of that poop-flavored tequila. You're getting a quality brand, okay? A quality taste. The
quality
Topo Chico is going to dilute it a little bit, okay? You're not getting that sugar with the Sprite or whatever that bullshit is. And then with the lime, you're getting a nice pinch of flavor to dilute out that tequila flavor, and you mix all 3 of those in one giant contraption, and it's a good quality sip.
I like it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, I got no honorable mentions, so I'm just gonna get right into it. At 5, I got vodka soda. I'm not usually one to branch out and try a lot of liquors because that's just not my game. But
no, I know it's not, Brophy.
But
shout out 21st birthdays.
Yo, Lubbock edition, 21st in Lubbock, baby.
But when I do, a nice vodka soda is good, nice, refreshing. Gotta love the carbonation, and that vodka is gonna get you where you need to go. Number 4,
Brophy puked on this carpet like he was a fucking cat on his birthday on the 21st after liquor. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, now they know. And then at number 4,
71 subscribers.
At number 4, I got White Claw seltzers. Just refreshing, especially, in the summer. Nice day on the lake, by a body of water. Just, especially the day after you've gotten fucked up on some beer, some other shit. It's just a refreshing way to go about things when you're trying to get drunk the next day. Number 3, give me a Bloody Mary. I love a good Bloody Mary in that, that 10 to 12 range, that brunch spot. Oh, buddy, get you a spicy one too. I'll tell you what, nothing better than the little hair of the dog. And then at number 2,
damn right,
hair of the dog.
At number 2, give me Freak Show red wine. I've been off wine for a little bit lately, but I do remember I love myself some good red wine. I think I'm gonna go ahead and I might get back into that thing like Luke here.
You should. You're sleeping.
Yeah, I am sleeping.
You like a cab if you like Freak Show.
Yeah, I got
Give
big
yourself
cab.
a nice blend.
Yeah,
big
blend. Try some Juggernaut. Try some Conundrum. Some Earthquake.
That's right. That
Clinker Brick.
That Freak Show. That Freak
Show sounds like some freaky shit there, Brophy. That's all you right there.
That Freak Show's put me in a good spot.
Freaky
a couple
man,
times.
baby.
freaky bro, freaky man, freaky drink.
And then my number 1, to no surprise, just light beer. Just give me a Miller Lite. I'll be happy with it. That's what I'm drinking 10 times out of 10. Give me fucking 12 Miller Lights. I mean, I'm gonna be a happy man.
I'm gonna have a fucking time.
That's all I need. Just a nice,
very
refreshing,
simple man. Very simple
96 calorie Miller Lite.
We had some good choices. I would drink everything we mentioned.
All right, let's rerun them real quick.
Let's run through them real quick. Luke, go.
All right, at 5, Red Bull vodka. 4.
Wait, hold on. Say my top 5 drinks before.
Oh, my top 5 drinks. At number 5, Red Bull vodka. Number 4, we got Coors / Miller Lite, good light beer. Number 3, Whiskey Coke. Number 2, IPA, specifically a nice hazy IPA. And a number 1, red wine, specifically a cab like Juggernaut, Freak Show, Conundrum, Earthquake, Clinker Brick, all the above. And that is my top 5.
I got at number 5, I got my dessert drink and a Brandy Alexander made with brandy ice cream and a bunch of sweetness and goodness to give you a nice throbbing hangover in the morning. Then I got a Jack and Coke, easy as can be. Got a Yingling, not a Yingling Light, not a Flight, none of that shit. A fucking Yingling original, number 3. Next, I got an old classic margarita. Doesn't matter the liquor or tequila, as long as it's fucking potent and hits me differently. That's what I want. And then next, I got a Coors Light, old reliable. Can't go wrong. It's what it is.
T-Bone.
All right, my top 5 alcoholic drinks goes as follows. At number 5, I got a nice margarita with some queso and beef fajitas. Hits every time. Number 4, a nice mimosa with brunch. Number 3, a nice red blend wine, maybe Conundrum, maybe Juggernaut, whatever it may be. Number 2, a nice Corona with lime. And number 1, Casamigos Reposado Tequila with Topo Chico and lime. You get all 3 of the best right there. Bang, bang, bang.
Put a bang, bada bing.
My top 5 drinks: 5 vodka soda, 4 White Claw, 3 Bloody Mary, 2 Freak Show red wine, and 1 just give me Miller Lite.
Give it to him.
Love
All
it.
right. Hell of a pod. We had to really zoom through that one. But Big E, thanks for joining us.
Big E, it was a pleasure.
Down from H-Town.
Thank you, boys. It was a pleasure.
We'll be talking to you real soon, Big E.
Yes, sir. Can't wait. Loved it.
We'll see you later.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.